Gentlemen, in about 10 minutes we will start with the first round of the Marrakech World Championships open category for men.
Well, a very good morning and welcome to the World Championships, the Open Weight World Championships being staged in the amazing city of Marrakech here in Morocco. And it's a very good morning to Loretta Kusakdor. Good morning, Loretta.
Good morning, Sheldon. And what a lovely day it is already. And I've been sitting here all excited. We've been talking about all the athletes that are participating here today in this Open. And it's going to be some exciting judo, that's all I can say.
It's an unusual venue. We've got one mat, only one mat, and we've got spectators on three sides crowded closely around that single tatami. It's going to make for a very special atmosphere, and the seats are beginning to fill up now. Teddy Ritter, who will have most of the focus on him. Crowd of supporters who've come across from France to back him up. They're all sitting about 5-6 meters away from us on our left-hand side. So
it's
expect
like
some noise.
It's like a third of the entourage that's here for Teddy Riner, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got a big group of supporters. They're also seated just in front of a large group of young Moroccan judoka, all beautifully turned out in their national tracksuits as well, so no doubt they'll know who the man of the hour is. I say man of the hour because it is the men today. We're going to have the women's event tomorrow, so men today, women tomorrow, so we'll focus on the men today, and we'll start by having a look at some of the people that Loretta feels that are worth taking a special look at. Where should we start then?
Well, you've already mentioned him, the biggest superstar here at this moment is obviously Teddy Riner, and he's obviously got to be the biggest favourite for winning this, and the pressure is definitely on this man. Olympic champion, double Olympic champion, world champion, and everyone's expecting this man to deliver here today. Watched him earlier on in the warm-up, and he seems very sharp. He's doing a lot of the warm-up that he was using wasn't actually physically on the judo mat. It was using ladders, keeping his feet sharp and light. And we do know that in the past, Teddy Reiner's come out and he's been a bit flat-footed. He's been a bit plodding along and very slow, but he looks ever so sharp at the moment. So I think he's really up for this. So he's obviously the number one favourite for me here today. But in saying that, the amount of athletes that are participating, we can't really rule out quite a few. We've obviously got the number 2 in France, Cyril Marit, that fought in Abu Dhabi about a week ago, wasn't it? And won the gold medal there. He looked very good. He looks sharp and obviously wants to make his mark here. And what better place to do alongside his teammate Teddy Riner. And also we have Ojitani of Japan, who won the gold medal in the Paris Grand Slam at the beginning of the year. He also won last year in Paris, he won the gold in the Grand Slam. So obviously a very strong contender, and he's in the top half of that draw in Pool B, so that's someone to watch out for. one of my favourites, I've seen him for a long, long time, and we can't rule him out, and he's a very experienced fighter in his time. Alexander Mikhailin from Russia, big, strong athlete. There's a lot of maturity, a lot of experience, and he's going to be a real contender. He competed against, obviously, Teddy Riner in the Olympic Games, where he took the silver medal, but still, he's always been there and there around the medal, so he's going to be a contender. And he's in the Pool C in the bottom half. So if they were ever to meet again, it will be closer into that final or in a repechage. And alongside that, I've just mentioned Cyril Marit. He's got to get past Cyril, and he's a young lad, he's up and coming, and he's hungry, and he's desperate to show his place here as a heavyweight and a contender for this weekend. Matishashvili, for me, is a boy that we've got to watch in the future. The Georgian guy, he's a young lad. He's, I think you said he was 24 years of age. 24, up and coming, has had some wonderful performances throughout the year. For me, he's got beautiful judo. He's just lacking the experience and the exposure of this sort of, but the Georgians have produced some fine heavyweight athletes, so he'll be up for this. And for me, someone that could really upset the medal table here today, I think, is someone definitely to watch. And the favourite, the home crowd, the favourite of everybody in the world of judo has got to be the adorable Iliadis from Greece. Everyone's favourite. He's an absolute sweetheart. He's the lightest in the weight category here today. He's at 94 kilos, but obviously world champion, world masters champion. He's done it all, but what he has is won the hearts of everybody over the years in world of judo. So everybody will be wanting to see this man stand on that podium here today.
Anyone else that we should call out?
It's like you could mention all of them, couldn't you? Nikiforov.
Toma Nikiforov from Belgium.
From Belgium. Again, he's another strong athlete. You've got Banabor, who's always... and Lipitiliani from Georgia.
Lipitiliani.
Again,
the Georgians have got quite a few in
they've got
there.
some strong athletes,
Adam
yes.
Okrashvili, Guram Tusishvili, who we haven't mentioned yet, gave Teddy Riner a really good fight that time out. Matiashvili, who you did mention, and then Valam Lipitiliani, he moved up from 90 to 100, but he's giving the plus 100s a go now. You mentioned Iliadis, and Iliadis has fought at under 100 kilos before.
Yes.
He moved up from 90 to give under 100 kilos a go.
So he definitely knows how to move the big men.
Guys,
he can fight with the big men. He can move them. He's
Stefan Hedgie. We haven't spoken about yet, the Austrian.
He's in Pool A, and he's got a tall order there. He's obviously in the same half as Teddy Riner, Krakovetsky again, and Tushishvili as well from Georgia, another Georgian, and the Mongolian.
Batulga Timoilin, or Sasson of Israel, who took a bronze medal in Rio. Got to be there or thereabouts. And then I think there's one more who we haven't spoken about yet, down in the bottom half. I wonder if the Russian will step up today. The other Russian, not Mikhailin, Anton Krivobokov. He's been around for quite a while. When I say he's been around for quite a while, not necessarily at senior level, but he was cadet world champion. So he showed quite a long time ago. We're talking about 2009 now. So 8 years ago, he came on to the cadet scene with a cadet world championship win. He was already cadet European silver medalist. So he knows how to get from one end of the draw to the next. He's had a little bit of time to settle in now to big men's judo, but you never know.
When you look at the actual draw, Pool C and D, that is really open. There's some real challenges there. You've got the Cuban, you've Garcia Mendoza, who's again he's got nice judo. He's someone who's a real contender, big guy, and you've obviously Alistofa from Austria.
Alistofa, the other Austrian,
again another strong competitor.
And I'm just going to mention one more, Iachiv Kamo from Ukraine. That's it for me.
Well, we've just got to wait and see, really. It is all about on the day and who can rise to the occasion. And will it be obviously Teddy Riner that everyone's expecting, or is this somebody that's just gutsy enough to take him on and take that gold medal from him?
Well, today is the day, and we won't have to wait any longer because we're going to get underway in a few seconds' time. The opening contest is between Luri Krakovetsky of Kyrgyzstan. He's up against Teddy Riner of France. It's Krakovetsky in the white judogi, Riner in blue. Sit back and enjoy the action. Everardo Garcia of Mexico is making his way out into the middle. He's got the job of overseeing this opening contest. I'm getting nervous.
Do you know what? I've just got butterflies. It's an amazing atmosphere here. It's one of the smallest arenas that I've ever been in, and but it's all zoned in onto that tatami. All eyes are on there, and everybody's got a great positioning to watch that match. We've actually got the best seat in the house, to be honest.
Teddy Riner has won the World Open once before when it was held in Levallois. But he's also lost at the World Open, and that was in Tokyo when he was beaten by Kamikawa Daiki of Japan. So the last loss suffered by Riner was actually in this event. But he's been unbeaten ever since, and it's the first time we've seen the big man in the blue judogi for how long?
Oh, goodness me, look
and
at the size of that man.
It's a very unusual sight to see Teddy Riner.
Massive man.
In a blue judogi. Got some strapping on the fingers. And
Krakovetsky there, we've just seen there in the white. Looking a little bit nervous out there, I must say.
Why?
Well, you would say we've got nothing to lose. Just get out there and just show what you're capable of doing. And
here we go.
Well, my stomach is absolutely churning here, but some of it, the anticipation of not knowing what's going to happen next.
This group of kids over on my left-hand side, they're all on their feet. they all stood up.
Well, definitely the height advantage goes to Teddy Riner.
You're right, even in the first few seconds, nice and upright, quick movements.
Right arm he's trying to throw over the top, but Krakovetsky is trying to hold that sleeve. As you can see there, hasn't done a very good job, and as you can see, that right hand is starting to go up into the collar, where he's controlling very nicely there, and that sleeve grip. And he started off very positive indeed. He's looking very strong, upright, and controlling very nicely. And you can see Krakovetsky is just with that arm in the inside. He looks as if he's a bit negative, and the referee will call mate. Possibly a Shido is going to be awarded.
Yeah, he saw that just as well as we did. There wasn't anything else that Krakovetsky could do. Once that right arm goes over the top, he feels the threat, and he just wants to use his left arm to push.
Well, look at the size difference between these two guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't think there was a massive weight difference, but the size, it just looks completely different, doesn't it? Krakovetsky is stockier and more portly,
yes.
I think the word is.
Portly. That's not exactly a polite way of putting it, I would have said.
It's a really old-fashioned term.
Yeah. Well, there's only literally about 3 kilos of a difference between these two athletes. The advantage of weight goes to Krakovetsky. Well, it is all about controlling here for Teddy Riner as he controls that right hand over the top. He draws his opponent's head in, and you can see that hip starting to hover a little bit as he looks for the opening of the Uchimata there, and he's also got that Osotru. He's working on the feet, trying to break, but he's not really committing too much. He's got the strong control grip, which is making his opponent look very passive indeed. And now the second Shido, which is putting the pressure on Krakovetsky.
Well, the referee was halfway through giving that second Shido, and then his colleague said, no, leave it. So, didn't go on the board. Now it's Krakovetsky's turn to come up with the big grip, which Riner breaks off immediately to take the dominant grip again. He has a little stab at maybe some Ashiwaza.
Yeah, the side there, as you can see, is trying to draw over on that shoulder, but Krakovetsky's just trying to control that sleeve, and he's not really doing a good job at it, but as he comes under the arm, He's still got his head caught up, and the head starts to go down once more, and he looks very passive there.
Yeah, it just looks as though he's taken the steam out of Krakowecki, and now there really isn't anything there except just holding him off.
Oh, Tiririna looking, there's the Osoto. Well, it was a show, it wasn't a real commitment on the attack, but takes a little bit of pressure off himself as well, because he's got the good grips, but he hasn't actually put a very good attack in yet.
Krakowecki just had a little flash at engaging with Ritter. I'm not going to even attempt to say what it was that he may have been trying, but at least he made contact with him. Cheers go up from the Ritter cheering section. 30 odd seconds left to go.
Oh, what an opening round. Tiririna, the favourite of this competition, out first. You wouldn't have thought he'd be the first man out on this contest, but he's looking very strong out there, and for a warm-up match, I suppose it was a good one for him. And
absolutely.
With 15 seconds remaining in this contest, still no score though, and as you can see, Krakowecki now with the head down once more, looking very negative. And the referee has really got to be looking at that once more. He's only got the one Judo.
He's lucky that there
He was
wasn't
very
a few
lucky
seconds
there.
More in that.
Well, I think it was on the cards a little bit earlier than that, so he's got to be very careful.
Right, we're into golden score then. And just going through the gears, I'd say he was only in second gear at the moment.
Well, it's
be
been
honest.
like a real warm-up here for him, isn't it? He's holding that, so he comes through, hooks in with Uchimata, following it through, he gets the score and the win within 19 seconds of golden score.
There wasn't anything left to try and avoid going over onto his side there, Krakowecki. He looked as though he wanted to try and use some of his strength to pull himself back, but there wasn't anything there. And
No.
once they went down to ground, brought him down onto his side, and that was good enough for the single score. Okay.
Well, the young crowd beside us to our left is obviously very excited about that, and the opportunity of seeing a little bit of a hero later on again, where he'd be up against Tushishvili of Georgia.
Good warm-up though, wasn't it?
It was a very good warm-up. It's most probably something he needed, because he's going to have a bit of a challenge in his next match, which is against the Georgian.
When we were discussing off air, Loretta and myself, the possibilities of how that contest would go, this was one of the things that we said was likely to happen, that Krakowecki, although he wasn't going to stop him, would slow him down sufficiently enough to keep him on the tatami for 4 minutes or whatever. The next question was that going to tire him out, or was that going to warm him up? Well, for me, that was warm-up.
Definitely a warm-up.
Never threatened.
Well, I think Tiririna would have been able to do that in the actual 4 minutes, but I think he held on. I think he desperately needed to get that sort of energy within this arena, because there is a sort of a real feel and atmosphere in this arena for these athletes, and I think he really wanted to soak that up first before starting to get the real pressure on him.
Well, he definitely got that, and we are now underway with our second contest of the morning. Mustafa Abdallaoui of Morocco faces Mohamed El Mehdi Lili of Algeria. It's Abdallaoui in the white judogi, Lili in blue. And our young supporters just left to our left get a second chance to scream and shout, because
the Moroccan here has got the shimiwaza. He's working on that, and he's got it. He's got him.
He's gone, mate.
Well, Abdallaoui of Morocco goes through to the next round, and that was a very convincing.
Lily doesn't know what day of the week it is. He's standing in the wrong
The
spot.
shimiwaza was there all the time, and
he doesn't even know why he's lost. That can happen sometimes.
Yes, yeah.
You're just out for a second, or in Lily's case, a couple of seconds, and then you get disorientated. He just hung on for a little bit too long there, and he was just out for a couple of seconds. Oh well.
And he'll be up against Simionescu later on from Romania in his next round. But as you can see,
he's gone
here,
there.
That was it.
You see the limbs have gone.
Well, you could see straight away he managed to flip him over as if there was nothing happening.
There, yeah.
So, and already he was out.
Well, here's an interesting one. Coming up next, Nassif Elias of the Lebanon faces Henk Grol of the Netherlands. It'll be Elias in the white judogi, Grol in blue. And Elias having fought at under 90 kilos along with Iliadis. They're the two lightest in the competition. And Grol having previously fought at under 100 kilos. So it'll be Elias when they finally come out here in the white judogi and Grol in blue. Now, Nassif Elias is, his parents are from the Lebanon. He's originally from Brazil.
Oh, right.
And he'd fought internationally for Brazil. He did all his judo in Brazil, lost the selection at under 90 kilos back in, I think it was 2013 or 2014, and decided to jump ship and go to the Lebanon. He then qualified for the Lebanon during that period and qualified to compete in Rio.
Amazing, huh?
So here he is, Elias, the shorter of the two, in the white judogi, Grol in blue.
Oh, and a great start for Elias there. As he works away in the Niwaza, looking for an opportunity down there. Grol, I don't think he realised what hit him there. He came out very cold and was taken off by surprise there. Now he drives him over towards that corner. Well, for Elias, that was a great start. And a bit of a shakener for Grol. So he throws that arm over the top. Big strong athlete from the Netherlands now, and follows through into the Niwaza once more, looking to get past those legs.
He's going to have real difficulty with Elias on the ground. The Brazilian is perfectly happy to fight him either prone, whichever way you like, because he's got good Niwaza, as you would expect from all people who've done all their judo in Brazil. Is that a little bit shorter?
Elias is the second lightest in this weight category. Iliadis being the lightest, 98, and you've got
that's
Grol.
after he put some weight on.
Yeah, that's it. And Grol's sitting about 112 kilos. Strong athlete. Look how tall he is comparing to his opponent here.
Grol, Sasson, Hedgie, Tusishvili, they're all that kind of build. The only one that we're missing is Kapalek, who's got the kind of size. They all come up from.
I'm surprised Kapalek isn't
he's
here.
Injured.
Oh, he's
injured.
Right.
He would have been. He's just recovered.
Because he's just made his debut into the plus 100s, isn't he? And so since the Olympic Games, I'm surprised I wasn't seeing him. But obviously, like you say, he's injured.
And then Cyril Marais.
Shame.
Those are the sorts of shapes that Ritter is going to have to face. He's going to have to face a few of those today. A little Uchimata effort that fell flat. The Moroccans will have something else to cheer about, because the next contest coming up features another Moroccan. That's a nice movement there from Grol.
Well, Grol taking full advantage of that height as he draws his opponent's head down. He's got that sleeve controlling very nicely, and he does there, getting the Wazari just pure upper body rotation.
It's not dissimilar situation from Ritter and Krakowetskill, is it?
Very similar, yeah.
And having said that Elias was good on the ground, he's going to lose out in Niwaza.
Well, we have the Osakumi, and it's looking very much like Grol will go through to the next round. He'll be up against Vakaviak of Belarusia
and for those
a little bit later.
Sorry, for those of you at home who like, statistics and things. We've had 3 contests so far. 2 have been won by fighters wearing blue judo gear and 1 by white, so make of that what you will.
That's what I love about you, because I would have been totally oblivious to what colour belt they were wearing. Maybe knowing what if they were left-handed or right, but definitely I wouldn't have gone for the colour of gi.
It's the sort of thing.
But you know what, is there something that as an athlete, being an athlete, former athlete myself, you used to have that sort of, if you started winning with a white, you'd never want it to change. As soon as you changed into a fresh gi, you used to think, well, I haven't really warmed up in this. And it was a bit off-putting, so I see where you're coming from with that.
Nice little turn with the hands here. Grohl feels the possibility of some tewaza, carries it out. And Elias is on his back. There's Wazari scored and he moves quickly.
Well, it was all about that right hand that was under the armpit, around the back, controlling very nicely, and he just broke it all up. The mistake there, as you can see, his opponent attacking a little bit of a half under pressure with the grips, and Grohl just waited for it, controlling with that sleeve and around the back nicely.
Well, the really nice thing about this is that almost every contest features a matchup that is well worth watching. We've now got El Mehdi Malki of Morocco. He's up against Alexander Gordienko of Ukraine. It's Malki in the white judogi, Gordienko in blue. Kids are on their feet again.
Well, Malki, you can see them all looking for their hero to just come out here and do it for Morocco.
Well, he's up against a tough Ukrainian. This Ukrainian boy is pretty good. He's only young.
But he's a big athlete, this Malki.
Yeah.
Very strong-looking athlete.
He's their best, I think. We've already seen one Moroccan. This is the second, but I think he's the better of the 2.
Looking to throw that right hand high over onto the collar. The Ukraine just controlling. Well, Malki actually looking to make more of an effort in this opening minute of the contest. Gordienko is going to pick up first Shido, and rightly so, well, both of them have, but I just felt Malki was doing that a little bit more, making more of an effort to try and engage in this contest. And but both of them have picked up their first Shido. Malki throwing again that right hand high on the collar, but there you have Gordienko looking.
Problems now.
There, hasn't secured the Osakomi very well. As you can see, it's been called out a bit too early. Yeah. He didn't secure it enough. He got him down there, but there was no real security.
I'm surprised there, really, that he called. I like to see proper control.
Yeah, there was no control. Yeah, he got him down there, and he no sooner was down, he called Osakomi, but you could see quite clearly there was no control in the Niwaza. Again, Malki throwing that right hand high onto the collar, trying to draw his opponent's head into the shoulder. As you can see, he's got that sleeve gripped as she pulls across his chest, trying to break the balance. Don't know if he's succeeded so well at this moment. Gordienko trying to draw him off to the corner of the mat area.
He just managed to get a little bit of a foot tap in there, which will save him from being called for stepping out.
Definitely, yeah. Well, 2 minutes remaining in this contest. Shido apiece. It's a match that could go either way. That elbow stuck up there, losing slight power, but he still manages the Uchimata, following it directly into the Niwaza, but Ippon's called. And Gordienko goes through to the next round.
Wearing his blue gi.
A blue gi.
I'm going to stop now because it's going to get ridiculous.
Hey.
But maybe someone at home who likes that kind of,
Well, it'll have to change somewhere. If Teddy Rayner goes all the way through, he'll eventually turn into white.
Yes. We shall
see. We'll just have to watch that one.
He started it. I blame Teddy.
Yeah, it's all his fault.
Dennis van der Geest is on the turntable down there. We had that blast of music as
He's-
Gordienko received the win.
What a talented man. He is very good, isn't he?
He himself was an open weight competitor on several occasions. I remember seeing him battling away. Right then, Gordienko it is who goes into round 2. We've got another first round contest coming up. Alexander Mikhailin of Russia faces Ulzibaya Durenbaya of Mongolia. It'll be Mikhailin in the white judogi, Ulzibaya in blue. Ritter.
Well, this is one of my favourites. Watched him for many, many years, and I just think I just like his judo. I think the experience, and he's kept himself a real strong contender and an athlete. He must be one of the oldest contenders in this tournament here this weekend.
I think he's 38.
Yeah, I think he's in the late 30s.
Munich in 2001, I think it was, when he won. And I think maybe in 2001, I think. I remember seeing him.
Well, when you think of the athletes that Russia have produced over the years, you can never write one of them off, can you? They're always going to be around the sort of podium, close to the podium, if not on it. But then the Mongolians again produce some very strong athletes, but mainly in the women. Their women are the strongest, aren't they?
We've got a current world champion at under 57 kilos, Dortsurin Sumia. Typical Mikhailin start.
Yes, he's got that
Head to
left
head.
hand and the head in there, and he's just looking to control that sleeve. He's got very strong left hand high collar grip, which is controlling quite nicely. He's got the advantage of being slightly taller than his opponent, so looks very powerful indeed, and controlling the pace of this contest. Mikhailin driving the movement here in this contest.
I always think he looks better when there's more movement from
Yes.
him.
Well, both of them will pick up a Shido. Again, he's got that left hand on the lapel this time, controlling the opponent's movement. Again, starts to work his way round the back, coming in nice and close here. Has the sleeve, but as you can see, Ulzibaya dismissing that high collar grip, but Kaelin going in for the Uchimata, following it through down into the knee, but the referee calling mate very quickly there. Kaelin once more with that left hand on that collar, prefers that grip, seems to be quite controlling. Has the Uchimatas now starting to come over the top where he can trap his opponent's right arm. So we've got a high collar in the sleeve now, very strong judo grip. The only danger is when he lets go, is that he leaves himself a little bit open there for his opponent to come through with the Sianagis. So he has to be very careful there. Ulzibaya trying desperately to get a grip of some sort, but not really has settled at all in controlling. Once more, Shidos are going to be awarded. Very little, but this time Ulzibaya takes the second, which puts the Mongolian under a little bit more pressure than his opponent. One more would result in the hand sokumaki. Mikhailin once more, that left hand on the collar inside, controlling.
Yeah, the reason that I had a strong memory of Mikhailin in Munich was because we had the open weight the day after the plus 100 kilo category. At that time, you'd have an open weight in the same event as the plus 100 kilo category, and he won both of those.
Well, he hooked in there for the Ouchi, went across for the Kouchi Gari. He's got the high collar grip again, but Ulzibayan, now as you can see, the right hand starts to creep inside. But again, it just loses the control. The Ouchi Gari. Well, Ulzibayan, as you can see, is coming under the arm, but the Uchimata there for Mikhailin.
It's getting all elements right at the same time.
Yes, yeah.
And sometimes he gets the top half right and the leg looks lazy. The other time he hasn't got proper control of the top half when he throws the leg up well.
Well, Ulzibaya there from Mongolia is coming under, as you can see, that right hand's coming under the back, under the arm, around the back there, which is a real danger for Mikhailin. If he can get the hips through, then it could be all over. He's leaning so much into that corner, but he just doesn't seem to follow it through. It's the strongest grip that the Mongolians had, but hasn't followed it into the attack yet. Mikhailin, he gets that left hand high in the collar. Now he's opting again. Once more, he's coming round onto that belt, and he comes across the Uchimata, straight in.
A big smile on the face of Yamashita Yasuhiro. He enjoyed watching that one. Jean-Luc Rouget and Uemura Haruki, they're all smiling at that. They're all heavyweight men, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
They enjoyed that.
And when you look at them now, you can remember them in their days.
Yeah,
they were
fighters,
just
yeah.
big men, and an absolute legend, Yasuhiro Yamashita.
That technique, that winning technique by Mikhailin, although wonderfully effective, I'm sure Loretta's going to agree with me, it didn't have the kind of finesse.
No,
But it was the kind of thing that would bring a smile to the three heavyweights that we're talking about, because they know what kind of power you need to pull over a man, and
it's
and
130 odd kilos.
Yeah, the size of Ulzibay Renbaya, so they like that, and we'll just say, yeah, a typical heavyweight technique. Right, Mikhailin, who's now greying in his beard. Now it goes through to round 2. Stay with us, we're going to bring you action. Here, let's have a look at this.
Well, it was that arm right over the back on the belt, and I was at one stage thinking he needs to attack because it's too long. He's holding onto the belt without the attack.
Yeah,
but
I was just about to say that as well during the
yes,
contest.
I was about to say you've got to put it in now, otherwise you're going to get penalised.
And then he launched.
Just about got the leg off the ground as well. It was more the shoulder and the hip that went in than the actual leg. Upper body control. Yeah. It's quite nicely done.
Top half power. Right, from one Russian leaving the map, we've got another run in the middle. But the two fighters, neither of them moved from Russia. Daniel Alastorfa of Austria faces Andrei Kolesnik of Ukraine. There is Alastorfa in the white judogi, Kolesnik in blue. And the referee in the middle from Russia is Vasily Smolin Jr.
Well, this Ukraine's a big lad, isn't he? Kolesnik. Towers over Alastorfa, who's controlling quite nicely his opponent. As you can see, he's coming in the inside on the lapels. Alastorfa opting for that. The right hand on the lapel, it sneakily goes up onto the shoulder, drawing his opponent's head down.
Creeping up there, wasn't it?
Yes, it was sort of edging his way up to the top. And I suppose that's the best way, because you start launching forward, and especially when your opponent's so much bigger, then you could put yourself in a vulnerable situation. Your balance tends to go, and the hips come in, and it'll be all over and done with, especially when someone is as big as this Ukraine is. Is now the Ukraine. The danger is that Ukraine connecting with that right hand over onto the collar. If he does that, then Alistofer is in a lot of trouble. And there it is, that high collar Oso to Makakomi, and there it is. That's the danger. So Ukraine picks up the first Wazari. Came over high, then followed it through into the Makakomi.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Good score on the board for Kolesnik with 2:20 odd left to go.
Well, for Alistofer Kolesnik, because the danger is that right hand coming high.
Well, I love the random cheers that you get from
Yeah, I'm just wondering where that came
youngsters.
from, yeah.
Maybe they just saw a replay on the big screen of the score.
Possibly, yes.
And they eventually caught up with the action. Here it is.
There it is.
Yeah. Thump as he went down on that right knee as well.
Alistofer coming in for the drop. Sienag, he just didn't get his hips in deep enough and lost the control as he dropped under.
Round two is beginning to take shape. We're going to give you a lineup of that round two.
Well, there again, that's
in a
that
minute.
danger. Kolesnik there looking to have that right hand high, but Alistofer coming in with the Uchimata. Well, Alistofer trying desperately to get some control on the grips and to win back what's already on the board, a Wazari for the Ukraine, who's leading quite comfortably with just 40 seconds remaining in this contest. Coming up to the last half minute, and the Ukraine, can he manage to hang on to that Wazari? Alistofer is trying desperately, as you can see. He's got that right hand high on the collar. He's coming in for the Makakomi. It's countered, and Kolesnik takes another Wazari.
And the
And the
Yosakami as well.
Yep, so it's more or less sealed his fate. And the Ukraine will go through to the next round with just seconds remaining.
Slightly unusual execution of Katakatami there, but it's effective. He hasn't moved, Alistofer.
Well, he's actually got the head and shoulder tightly packed, and he's up on his knees, which means he's bracing down onto just that shoulder. And
difficult to move.
like most heavyweights, though, if you get them on their back, they're like turtles. They can't seem to get over, can they? They're really, the weight is just heavily onto the rear. They're not as agile as a lightweight would be. They don't have that same rotation.
Right, well, the two Ukrainians that we've seen this morning have both gone through, Gordienko and Kolesnik now. They're both into round two. And we've got a third, Yahu, I'm going to get this right soon. Yahiv Kamo. God, I still don't think I got it right. I haven't seen the name for a while, so I'm stumbling over it. Kolesnik will face Matiashvili in round two. It's in Pool D that you've got Yahiv Kamo. There you go. Kamo has got a bye in any case into round two. Yeah, a good win from Kolesnik, coming up with two nice scores. In fact, the second one was a counter to an attempted Makikomi effort.
Yes. Well, it was a last-ditch attempt there to come back into this contest, and it fell short of that rotation and left himself very vulnerable in the rear.
We saw Alexander Mikhalin earlier on, the Russian. We're now going to see the second Russian. This time it's Adlan Bizultanov. It'll be Bizultanov in the white judogi to face Michal Horak of the Czech Republic. Horak in blue.
The next round, in the white judogi,
Blue doing well. That was another blue win.
The Blues are doing well,
good.
yes.
The Blues
In the
have
blue
it.
corner, they're all
Yeah.
wanting it. There's a real battle at the back going, why do I have to go into the white?
White
It's not
team,
doing so
yeah.
well at this moment. There's a real sort of taint in that.
I'll tell you what, though, my money is on this man in the
Horak.
white judogi. No,
Definitely.
giving a break. Poor Horak's in blue.
Yes.
Horak's in blue. He's up against Bizultanov, Adlan Bizultanov, one of the most beautiful throwers on the circuit. Fighting up at plus 100, because he's under 100 kilos normally. What did he weigh in at?
I'll just tell you.
I think they've got them in country order,
Oh,
haven't
have they
they?
got him in?
Yeah, down here. Bizultanov, what was he in?
103.
Yeah, there you go. So he's just over his normal weight.
Yeah.
So, but he really does throw beautifully. Nice little Ashi was her
I
attempt
saw him
there.
earlier in the warm-up area, and he
Good
just a
movement.
nice judo. It was just flowing, and he looks so relaxed as well. You wouldn't think that he was going to be up here fighting in this major event.
And if you at home, I'm not sure what time it is where you are, but if you're thinking about getting a drink to settle down and watch some more judo, get it now, because in 2 fights' time we've got Guram Tusishvili
Oh yes.
and Teddy Ritter. You
Oh.
don't want
Well,
to be missing
definitely,
that.
you don't want to miss that match. That's going to be a real challenge.
So
That one.
If you haven't got your snacks yet, get them in now.
Yeah, get that cup of coffee on
Yeah.
ready.
Edge of my seat here in anticipation of that one. "35 minutes we've been going." Teddy Ritter kicked things off with his first round win against Luri Krakovetsky of Kyrgyzstan. He'll be back on in a few minutes' time. I'd say maybe 15 minutes maximum.
Yes,
He'll
definitely.
be back on the mat, so 45 minutes in between contests.
And he's looking good.
Yeah,
He's
he moved
looking
nicely.
really sharp. He's looking very light on his feet. He's actually looking in really good condition as well. Or what I saw in the warm-up area anyway. He looks in very good nick.
Horak just slowing down Bizultanov at the moment. I think possibly having to deal with, a
Very-
heavier body.
Yes, he's trying to draw him in and slow the pace, keeping him very flat. But look at that! Oh, yes! Morote Sianagi. And just a little bit off centre. Didn't get the real big score, but just lost it over on that shoulder, but
Yeah.
still managed to control it to the end.
It was a second stab at it that got his feet slightly in the wrong place. What
Yes.
did Horak weigh in at? He's up there. I can't.
114 kilos.
Yeah, he's not. Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
Touch that leg.
What's going on there?
Yeah. Bisultanov there trying to rotate his opponent over, looking for an opportunity to capitalise down in that Niwa zone. He's starting to do quite well. As you can see, he's trying to draw on that arm.
Just the leg now.
Now he's just got to get the leg over. And Horak thinks he's safe, but he isn't.
Just that one Wasari then for Bizultanov.
There you see the drop, nicely controlled. Horak, as you can see, with that right hand just under the armpit there, controlling, trying desperately to control his opponent's left side. Horak has the advantage of being slightly bigger and is taller than his opponent. That right left hand comes over the back.
He just had that one Marotti Sernagi effort,
Yes.
Bizoltanov, when he moved nicely, got into a reasonable position. It fell apart a little bit, but he still came up with the score. And after that, he's just, closed up
Control
shop,
that, yeah. There was a mistake
better
there
here,
from
yeah.
Horak that came in for the Sutemi Waza, and that sort of aerial awareness there of Bizoltanov controlling, but didn't control well enough in the Niwaz. He had a great opportunity there to finish it, but still, he goes through to the next round with that Wazari.
I told you White was going to break that up. White Judogi man came up.
Yes, there. You jinxed it by just saying it.
He's got nice quality judo, as Bizoltanov. We didn't really get to see a lot of it there. There was just that one flash with the Marotti Sernagi that he came up with the score, and it was late on enough in the contest for him to just coast a little bit after that. And I think to some degree, the effort in the Newaza at the end didn't push him, because he looked up 7 seconds to go
What's the
on the
point?
clock.
Yeah.
I'm not going to break my neck trying
Well,
to...
it's reserving
Yeah.
some energy as well, because it is going to be challenging. It's physically, it's like putting an extra 10 kilos on a bar and doing a couple of more reps.
Yeah.
It's going to be more challenging than what he would normally have in his own weight division.
Right then, after the highlights, we will have one more round one contest. That will be it for round one. It'll be Borbana of Hungary to face Kageura Kokoro of Japan. Bo in the white judogi, Kageura in blue. Whilst we're waiting for the two fighters to come out, Tusicvili and Ritter coming up next. Chabela and Brashev, Simionescu, Abdelaloui, Batulga will face Heji. It'll be Vachaviak and Grol, Ojitani and Heinler, Gordienko and Okrashvili, Kribovokov and Granda of Cuba, Temar from Algeria and Mikhailin of Russia, Mare and Sasson, Matioshvili and Kolesnik, and then Nikiforov and Hajidani Poolby, Indeye and Garcia Mendoza, Kamo and Bizoltanov, and then it'll be Lipatiliani to face the winner of Borbana and Kageura Kokoro. Maya and Iliadis will bring up the end of round two. What a treat we've got in store for us in round two.
We've got some nice matches coming up, some real challenging ones.
How heavy's Kageura then? He can't be that heavy a guy.
117 kilos.
Well, he's a plus 100 kilo guy.
Yes.
He's legit. He's not one of the big heavies, is he?
Ojitani, his teammate, is tipping the scales at 145 kilos.
Yeah,
So
he's a little bit heavier,
he's
isn't he?
just a little bit.
A tad heavier.
That's like throwing a 48 kilo lady on your back, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's a real battle here. Lovely drop Sianagi there from Kuragura. Starts off very positive.
Bo has got a nice Uchimata. I'm not sure if he can work his magic against someone of the quality of Kageura, but it'd be nice if he gives it a go.
Well, Karyuga there looks really light on his feet for a heavyweight. He moves quite nicely on this tatami. Just tries to settle in there with the grips. Bora there with the left hand on that lapel. He's got the right hand on the sleeve, controlling, trying to slow down the pace of Kagehura.
Still just the single Shido against Bohr. No, by no means out of it.
No, it's a very close match indeed between these two athletes. Kagehura. Oh, a lovely Kosota attack there. Bohr left himself wide open there.
Yeah, and he had to cover up.
Oh, he did well to rescue himself on that.
He turned away from the attacking Kagehura. And there's a reasonable little effort from Bohr, but it just gave the suggestion that he was under pressure with the grips, and he thought, I better throw that one
Yes.
in there.
I don't think he realised how close he was on that. He drops Sianagi.
Oh, that was nice.
Yes, that's got to be
Lovely,
a problem.
yeah.
Well, Kagehura goes through to the next round and did that in style. Maybe one of the best throws so far.
Yeah, that was quality.
Nice.
Bizultanov had a nice little effort, but it didn't have the finish that Kagehura did. Bohr going over for Ippon there.
The winner is for Japan, Kagehura Kokoro.
That's it then for round one.
He'll be up against Lipitiniani. That will be a very interesting match indeed.
Libertiliani said that he expected to face him here,
Oh, did he?
even before the draw.
Really?
He thought, I bet I end up with Kagehura, and he did.
And that, yeah, and he's done that in his first match.
He won his bet.
Yeah, because he had a bye in the first round, and so it'll be his opening round.
Yeah.
And here's the highlights of that very technique.
Good left-sided finish.
Oh, nice. And blue.
Yeah, back to blue. Well, I wonder if it's going to be blue this time round, because the upcoming contest features Guram Tusishvili of Georgia. He's up against Teddy Ritter. It'll be Tusishvili in the white judogi, Ritter in the lucky blue at the moment. It's Tusishvili and Ritter part 2.
That technique just got better in those replays each time we saw it.
People jockeying for position for the best seats now.
Well,
Should have made
should
sure
have
they
come
got them
early.
earlier.
Should have been here like we were.
Yeah. Well, here we go then. Crowd on their feet. Well, part of them. All the youngsters up on their feet,
Oh,
cheering
definitely.
already.
Oh, yeah. And there you see the big man himself, Teddy Rina, in the blue, and Tusishvili there just coming onto the tatami in the white, representing Georgia. Well, the fan groups behind. They're all up on their feet at the back. Tusishvili coming across with what looked to be like a Siotoshi attempt, totally dismissed by Rina.
Gold back patch of the current Olympic champion that's up.
Oh,
the left side on the hip there.
Oh, the hips went in. Well, good. Hey, what a bit of excitement there.
Sarah Kidsey was out of his chair as well.
Hey.
He caught him with Ashiwaza, or at least he unsettled him with Ashiwaza
definitely.
the last time they fought. This time he throws the left hip in, and again he's attacking at the feet. Rinner goes right-sided,
Yeah.
and he has to cover up.
Looked to be the Tayatoshi, turned it into a bit of a Makikomi. A little bit of a desperate attack there, really. I think he felt that he had to put that one in. Wasn't really set up very well.
Oh, my goodness! I said it's an overthrow.
He overspun
I
him.
think he overthrows him here, but that was...
Definitely.
We haven't seen that from the big man for a
No,
long time.
He
That was
hasn't
massive.
He hasn't thrown like that for some time. And I think he lost a bit of control at the latter end of that.
It's too big.
But nevertheless, yep, definitely an overthrow. He just overpowered him and lost the control right at the last stage of that attack. And here we have the highlight. Big Harai Makuk. Oh! Harai Goshi landed him more or less on his face.
Yeah. He just gets the side and then rolls onto his front. So Wazari is the right score. But that was huge, and he almost misses himself there. Well, that's what people have come to see, that kind of flash of brilliance from the big fella, and he gave it to us there, just overthrowing Tusishvili, and the Georgian has got his work cut out here. Well, we knew that anyway. That was a stupid thing to say.
Well, Tusishvili has given away roughly about 32 kilos in weight in this match, but you wouldn't think that, would you? The way he's fighting here, this very powerful Georgian. Kosota attack there. Well, do you know what? The fight's on here in this match, isn't it? It's 1 for 1, and every attack looks so close to scoring. It's really now about condition as well, because as the minutes go on, some of the attacks will become a little bit weak here.
But just all power there.
Yeah, Sutemi was a little bit of pressure there, I think, for Rina. Wasn't sure what he was attempting to do there. And I don't think he was really wanting to dabble too much in the Niwaza.
Yeah, I think the initial idea was to take control, but Tusishvili crumbled under the grip, and then Teddy thought, well, I'll throw a Sutemi Waza in here, but it wasn't there.
He just didn't have the reaction.
I think this is his day for that right-sided Harai Goshi. He's looking at it again. Still isn't able to get the hands underneath to execute the turnover.
Rina's just going to stay down there. A couple of extra seconds that's taken away is less for him to stand up and have to deal with this Georgian. And he has to deal with him, there's no doubt about it. He's got to keep his wits about him. He's got to stay very focused. He cannot afford to give an inch here with the Georgian, who comes through again with a CNA. Oops! And that was a bit of an oops moment, wasn't it, for Tiririna?
Heavy bandaging and strapping on the right hand of Rina, around the wrist and some of the fingers. Tusishvili is nothing if brave.
Oh, he's definitely a brave man out there, a very exciting fighter indeed. As he comes through, as you can see, the left on the lapel, and he's trying to control Rina's right sleeve as he steps across. And he steps over looking for that Tayatoshi. Didn't get the hips across enough and didn't have the control on Tiririna's sleeve enough to get the rotation. And well, this has opened up for a very exciting contest indeed. And Tiririna's family members there looking, anticipating. Uchimata into a Makukomi. Wazari once more. Now he's going to keep him down there with just under a minute remaining, looking. He's got the leg caught up here, but he's going to look very, very busy down there, working not only the clock but his opponent and putting him under a bit of extreme pressure. Refereeing doing well there, because there wasn't really going to be any finish in that Niwaza, and benefit of the doubt for the Georgian to get him back up on his feet to create a little bit more excitement out here in this contest.
20 odd seconds left to go. 2 scores against Tusishvili.
Tusishvili really has to do something special. He's capable, there's no doubt about it. Is he brave enough and gutsy enough to just go for it? It's one of those sort of things that he can actually throw for 10 or get caught. But he has to make that effort. Oh, and there was a Kosota with 1 second remaining, and it's Teddy Rina that goes through to the next round, the third round.
Yeah, Tusishvili knows that this one has gotten past him. Yeah, another bit of respect between the pair. They're building up quite a quite a little head-to-head here, but it's Ritter who leads now 2-0. And by 2-0 here.
Yeah, well, that was a very exciting match indeed, I think. For me, it was the real challenge right at the beginning, and but I think as soon as Teddy had got that first score, it took a slight pressure off himself, which made his opponent have to open up and change the dynamics of that match.
Yeah, Tunisia will be disappointed that he wasn't able to threaten Ritter as he had previously. A couple of attacks, but he this time round gave up 2 really big scores against the big fella, and Ritter looked better in this contest against Tunisia than he had in his previous. I think he was better prepared for him.
Oh, look at that big Harai. Oof.
He was ready for him this time, and he stepped up a gear when he needed to.
Well, it was more the Ashi there.
Yeah. Mum giving him a slap on the head. He didn't even notice it. His mum rushed over to give her son a slap round the head. It wasn't a tap, it was an absolute slap, and he just brushed it off like a mosquito.
Stay focused, stay in the zone, and the mother trying to break that all up.
Yeah.
God love her.
You
Mustn't be easy for a mother sitting out there and not able to do anything or even.
But you'd think by now that she'd be used to this, this kind of
definitely
hype and
not.
everything, and she's still excited and animated and
nervous.
happy. Yeah. Right.
It's her baby. What are you on? It's her
Absolutely,
baby. They'll always I always say with my son, he's always going to be my baby, even though he's 6'1" and towers me.
Right, round 2 is well underway now. Ritter opened it up with that defeat of Gurem Tusishvili of Georgia. We've now got the first look at Faisal Chabela of Tunisia. He's up against Anton Brashev of Russia. It's Chabela in the white judogi, Brashev in blue.
And that was another blue win.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's only been one white that's destroyed that.
Bezultanov was in white, wasn't he? And what
Yes.
about the Moroccan? He strangled the his opponent who was in blue, I think. We got the Moroccan putting out someone, literally putting him out.
Yeah, definitely put him out.
So we've only had the 2 contests, as far as I can remember, that were won by fighters in white judogi. Is odd, because normally it's the complete other way round, because the white judogi is normally the higher seeded player, but yeah, there's no seeding, so the seeding has gone to pot. Interesting little conundrum for those of you that like that kind of thing.
Abdul Ali of Morocco. That's the one you were talking about with the shimiwaza.
Yeah. Who did he beat?
Lily of Algeria.
Algeria, yeah. Poor old Lily came unstuck, didn't he? It was a nice little sumigeshi, right, and a beautiful example over to the corner as well from Faisal Chabela, showing a little bit of nifty work, the Tunisian there. Leads by Wazari with a little under 3 minutes left to go. Ritter fan club is in big order here, plenty of them around on both sides. Well, there are 3 sides for seating in this rather unique venue, and on all 3 sides you've got, bunches of Ritter supporters in white t-shirts that have got a maker's name on the front. We can't
And it's
call
got
it
in gold at the back, it's got Teddy Ritter.
Yeah. We're not going to name that particular brand because they're not our sponsors, are they? So we better not name them. One Wazari up on the board for Chabela as Brachev tries to break him down and tie the scores up, or even maybe go ahead.
Oh, Brachev trying to come through that very strong right-handed high collar grip there of Chabela. He's controlling him very nicely there, with obviously leading with the Wazari. Lachev trying with the Kosoto, Kouchigari, trying to break up the balance of his Tunisian opponent. Drops underneath.
Just lost
Just
contact with one hand.
Yeah, just only had the one hand on. And when you're with these guys, you need both hands in control.
Wasn't quite enough there, was it?
No. The Russian coach there giving some valuable advice there. So deep drop. Pajala really not looking for anything down in the Niwaza, just quite happy to stay up and stay in control and keeping that lead in position.
Just out of interest, what have we got in the final block then? That'd be an interesting little final block, because normally we have the medal matches. We've only got 3, haven't we? We've just got the 2 bronze medal matches and the gold medal
and
match.
the gold medal.
We'll just have to check with our chief and see if we're just going to have three contests in the final block. No. Okay. He's indicating to me, guess again. He's obviously not going to help me out at all here. Just leave me high and dry and looking stupid on air. Okay, right. Not the first time. Not the first time that he's done that. It's not the first time I've looked stupid on air. Right, so 7. It looks like 7. So it'll be the semi-finals and then... Yeah, okay.
And the head's nodding around. Yes, that's it. We're working our way there. We'll get there eventually. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your help there, Chief. Well, Chabela with the single score. It was a nice little sumigeishi.
And he'll be up against Teddy Rina.
Oh.
So that'll be a very interesting match.
Your
indeed.
prize for that win?
I know.
The great thing is, however, is that it's third contest of the day. It'll be Ritter's third contest of the day, and it's still not in the medals yet.
Nope.
That's really good. Good lineup. Right, Chabela over Brashev.
And that will be for a place in the quarterfinal.
Chabela just trying to find out how to get out of the venue now.
The camera right up his nose. It's
Right, well, here are some highlights. When we come back, we're going to have our first look at Vlad Simionescu of Romania. He had a bye in the opening round, but it'll be a second look at the Moroccan Mustafa Abdellahoui. It'll be Simionescu in the white judogi, Abdellahoui in blue.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome for the next athletes. In white for Romania, Vlad Simionescu. And in blue for Morocco, Mustafa Abdellahoui.
well, Abdellahoui there in the blue gi, as we can see on our screen, and Simionescu in the white. Ah, big lad he is.
Yeah, he is. Got to be one of the heaviest.
Definitely got to be one.
Is Abdellahoui the strangler?
Yes, he is. Defeated the Algerian, the Strangler.
good nickname for him, isn't it?
The shimmy was it, yeah.
Yeah.
The Strangler.
Mustafa the Strangler Abdellahoui of Morocco.
Well, if he doesn't do anything more, he's actually been given that title.
Yeah, there we go. Good grip now.
A strong grip there. Abdellahoui there with the high collar grip there.
Use it.
The left side, but needs to start being brave enough to come through, but Simionescu comes over the top trying to block that. Now he's got the sleeve, he's trying to draw that sleeve down. Oh, yes! Simionescu there comes through.
Yeah.
That was a ippon. It's definitely an ippon.
The crowd silencer. The crowd silencer does the strangler.
Well, Simionescu, there was going to be some beat there. 162 kilos he tipped the scales with.
And the winner in the white judo gi for Romania, Vlad Simionescu.
So Simionescu it is who brushes past the challenge of Abdallah.
You can see the highlights of this fight on the big screen.
And he'll be up against the winner of the next match coming up very shortly. Both these athletes have had a bye in the first round, so this is their opening match. And there you have the highlights, a lovely counter there, ippon.
Got himself into a bad position, didn't he?
Yes, and no hands on, no hands. What you as Simionescu came through.
Ladies and gentlemen, the second round. In white from Mongolia, Tunisia. In blue for Austria,
Right, coming up next, Batulga Temelin of Mongolia faces Stefan Hedji of Austria. It's Batulga in the white judo gi, Hedji in blue. I wonder why they have barriers there.
I wonder.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some reason. Right, here we go. Hedji, I like the look of. He's not the finished article yet. He's a young man making his way up in this weight category. I think he's a useful player to look
He's
for.
actually quite a lightweight comparing to some of them. 115 kilos. He's tipped the scales here yesterday.
What about Batulga? What's he on at?
Batulga, 142.
Yeah, he's a little bit too much for Hedji to be dealing with. However, he's not a 100-kilo fighter fighting up at plus 100. He is a plus 100-kilo fighter, so he has to get used to this kind of weight.
Yes, definitely.
This is his weight category. Go on.
It's very strong there. He seems confident enough. Just needs to have a real finish on that attack there. It looked like he was trying the Uchimata, but the leg just wasn't moving upwards. And he just didn't have the reach to take it across for the Tayatoshi there.
Single Shido against Hedji inside the first minute. A little bit of foot tapping from the pair of them, but nothing serious.
No, neither one of them are threatening each other at all. There's a real battle of just the grips. The heads are down. Disengaged with the hips, being too far away to be able to step through and to get that rotation and finish of any attack. And to get a rear attack there with the Ouchis Kosotas, the hips are too far apart. So it's a Shido that's going to be awarded here. And I think it should go for both. But no, they're going to just give it to Mongolia.
Tolga picks up his first Shido. Hedji'd already collected one, and they decided, well,
I didn't think Hedji was doing much either, so it was a 50-50 there. And now he's trying to move Batulga.
Got to remember where the contest area is.
Yeah.
You can't.
But in fairness, when you actually look out there live, these guys are so big that a couple of steps and they're off, aren't they? It's not an easy thing to do, but as you can see, the Mongolian there with the right arm over the top of the back there, controlling, looking for that counter. He now goes on towards the belt.
See, when Hedgie gets that right, they're going to go over. He's got a nice stretch, hasn't he? He's got
Yes.
that left leg out there. Just got to get the... It's better when they're moving, you know, for him to try and get them going. They're big guys. You want some movement.
Yeah, you need to. It's like hitting a brick wall. If they're solid, it's just really too dense there. You need to have that break up. Hedgie's staying very light on his feet. You can see a little bit of a bounce there. Good condition, this athlete. And he needs to have that condition to be able to go on for the next minute and a half. As there's no score, 2 Shidos on the board, 1 apiece. Hedgie there, as you can see, with the left hand on the lapel as he tries to move his hips and he steps across, but lose a little bit of confidence there as he does drop through.
He brought that on himself. You know, it's a big mat area, you know, and he can go left or right.
Yes.
He's going backwards. When he went backwards, he got further and further and further into that corner. And by the time he got into the corner, there wasn't anything for him to do except that silly little drop there. Left or right would be a better option for him, but that's better.
Well, a circling motion he needs. Circling, but as
Yeah.
you can see, Batulga there just driving, he's putting his power and his weight and he's drawing it down on Hedgie, trying to desperately slow the Austrian down because he knows that the danger is if Hedgie can stay light and start to move, then the Mongolian's in trouble. So he's just trying to break and close that all down and in somewhere try and put the pressure on the Austrian to turn his back so he can get the counter. There's a real tactical ploy here. Now you can see as soon as the Mongolian engages and comes in very close and more contact, then Hedgie starts to panic and some of the drops come in, and there you have it.
Yeah.
He made that terrible mistake there.
He brought that on himself.
Yeah.
The 2 penalties there that he could have avoided, and that last one where he dropped, was the pressure because he felt the edge of the contest area.
Yeah.
And a couple of seconds before that, he'd shown how to avoid it by doing the circling motion that
Yes.
we were talking
Yes,
about.
he kept it open, he kept it loose, and
Yeah.
he created a space to be able to look in control. And sadly,
Right.
well,
We've
he'll be up against Simionescu a little bit later on for Romania.
He'll have a tougher job.
That'll
there.
be a really tough match.
I'm slightly disappointed with Hedgie. But and I'm disappointed. The Austrian coach has just walked past us and he's signalling, well, what did the Mongolian do? Nothing. That's right. But you have to deal with that. You have to deal with that kind of excessive stiff arm and everything. And Hedgie wasn't. He found himself in the corner. He found himself backed up, and he was fighting the stiff arms. But you've got to get round that and make Batulga look passive.
And
look negative.
Hedgie was capable of doing it. He
Yeah.
just didn't do it enough.
He didn't do
That's
enough.
it. That was the problem. He didn't do enough.
Coming onto the mat now, Alexander Vachaviak of Belarus faces Henk Grol of the Netherlands. Vachaviak in the white judogi, Grol in blue.
Well, this is Vachaviak's first match against Grol. Grol actually had Elias of Lebanon earlier on in the first round. That was quite a convincing win. So he's had his warm-up under his belt. So Vachaviak there.
He just stepped off the contest area. The referee is called Mate, signalled that he'd stepped off the contest area, and for some reason they decided not to give that penalty. She was all for giving him the penalty, and I was all for giving it to him as well. Mind you, I'm not refereeing, so it doesn't matter what I think. However, I think she was perfectly justified. He just walked off the contest area. Anyway.
I'm glad you've got that off your chest.
Yeah, I wanted to get rid of that. He escaped that penalty. And now it's on the board. without calling the mate and without signalling for it, all of a sudden it's appeared on the board. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it doesn't look like it's given him a bit of a wake up. He's still looking very passive
Probably
out
hasn't
there.
seen it.
Most probably doesn't realise he's got Judo against him. He'll look up in the mate and wonder how I got
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
What was that for? You know, we've got processes for going through these things, and it just looks a little bit, you know, untidy when they're not done properly.
Well, Vakaviak there making Grohl look very small there, isn't he? Comes in with the Osota into the Makakomi. Nice attempt there, but Grohl did extremely well to avoid that. Looks like he's given himself a bit of a knee jar there.
Moves a bit gingerly back to his start point, but he gets back underway with 2.5 minutes left to go. Single Shido against Vakaviak for stepping out, quite rightly. And now he goes on to one side, but just for a moment, and then Grohl tidies things up.
Well, Grohl just trying to break up his opponent there. He's very good on the grips. He's very powerful. He knows how to move, but there, Sasai just didn't have the upper body control.
Grohl now picks up a penalty for passivity. A bit harsh.
I think so. I think he's actually done
He's
very
in
well
it.
in this. He's been controlling this contest. Look at that grip there as well. Needs to draw his opponent's head, needs to dig in that elbow. He kept the elbow too high, then followed through the Uchimata, but had no upper body control on that. And against the Belarusian, who's, as you can see, very, very strong indeed, and slightly heavier than his opponent, it wasn't a wise attack to make, and he's done well not to come unstuck with that one. Well, Grohl again dropping to his face. He's opting for that high collar grip, but really it's powerless. He really isn't having much of an impact on that right hand coming over the top. Once more, as you can see, it's there. The elbow needs to be tucked in deep. Needs to control and draw that shoulder in, but he really isn't. He's just throwing the arm and keeping it quite high, which is very dangerous to do.
You just got to be careful with that right hand as well. There is a rule against guarding your
Guarding
own
your
gi.
own lapel, yes. It's like you're trying to stop your opponent from. Oh, Sasai there, a lovely Ashiwaza attempt.
Caught him cold.
Oh, lovely upper body control. Just lost it just at the end. Overspun him. But scoring a Wazari with 45 seconds remaining.
Just caught enough of him
Yes.
to get the score, because he was really rolling, wasn't he?
There's Grohl again with a high over the top, trying to draw his opponent. This time he's trapped the shoulder, which is better than just having the collar. But
Better
again,
footwork, yeah.
once more left himself very vulnerable. So upon there, Valkaviak goes through to the next round. Does that very easily as well against Grohl.
Well, a spirited little effort from the Dutchman, however. He got caught with the same technique twice.
And I think it was really from that high collar grip. He kept persisting with the high collar, but really didn't actually have much control.
Alexander Vakaviak goes through to round 3. See him up there.
You can see the highlights of this fight on the next screen.
And he'll be up against the winner of the next match coming up very shortly. And there's the highlights of that very match.
Right, and that next contest that Loretta's just alluded to is between Ojitani Takeshi of Japan. He faces Sven Heinle of Germany. It's Ojitani in the white judogi, Heinle in blue.
Well, there's Heinle, as you can see, in the blue gi, and Ojitani there in the white, coming on to this contest area.
Now, size-wise, they look evenly matched, but weight-wise, Ojitani's a good deal heavier, isn't he?
Well, Ojitani, 145 kilos, he tips the scales, and his German opponent, 131, 10
That's
kilos.
all right, yeah.
10
Yeah.
kilos. It's not too much when you're looking at heavyweights.
Yeah.
Ojitani this year, he's had a very impressive record. He took a gold medal at the beginning of the year in Paris, Grand Slam. He's the current Grand Slam champion in Tokyo last year, and obviously next month will be trying to defend that title.
Put himself in some trouble here.
Yep.
Ooh,
Oh, he did well there.
that was a good turn.
He reacted just right. Mainly looking a little bit apprehensive against his Japanese opponent. Ojitani there, trying to control the grips, steps across, now tries to get the counter and work away down in the Niwaza. Well, it's just really a battle with grips here. An attempt of a ko-chigari from the German. So it comes in there, as you can see, the left hand on the lapel, trying to desperately get his opponent's left sleeve. Ojitani with the right hand on the lapel.
There'd been a lazy-looking left ojigari effort from
Both
Sven
of them
Heinle, and he could easily have turned that. He was very lucky to get away with that, Heinle. Right-sided Uchimata effort, but the hands were not in the right position. There are moments in heavyweight judo when there's just, like we saw with the big Haraigoshi from Teddy Riner earlier on, were just absolutely fantastic. And you kind of hang around and wait for those, and when they come, they're just breathtaking. But from time to time, they take their time in coming.
Yeah, so you're just wondering when it's going to happen and if they're going to have enough time for it to happen. Well, there's a bit of the ashiwazas going on there and trying to break up the balance of Heinle. But Ojitani just really not committing that much.
40 seconds left to go. No scorers yet. Both players have picked up a penalty apiece. Sven Heinle tries a right-sided Makikomi, but almost as he attempts it, he's also attempting to cover up as he realizes it's not going to be effective. just falls onto his front.
Well, it's been a real battle between both these athletes. Not maybe one of the most exciting ones that we've seen so far.
Oh, it goes over.
Steps across there in very slow motion, but picks up. The timing couldn't have been better, though, with 6 minutes remaining, and falls in there to the Osakome.
That'll do now, because irrespective of what happens with the Osai Waza, Ojitani's got the Wazari on the board. And that'll be it. He'll hold him for the full 20 seconds.
Well, Ojitani then goes through to the next round. And he'll be up against Vakaviak of Belarus later on.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup, size-wise as well. You've got two heavy fighters going head-to-head. Vakaviak slightly taller, I think. We'll have some highlights and then we'll be back with another round 2 contest. This time it will be Alexander Gordienko of Ukraine to go up against Adam Okrashvili of Georgia. It will be Gordienko in the white judogi and Okrashvili in blue. That's coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome for the next competitors. In white judogi for the Ukraine, Alexander Gordienko. And in blue for Georgia, Adam Okrashvili.
First time we've seen Okrashvili. How many Georgians did we say we had? We had Lipatiliani, Matiashvili, Okrashvili, Tusishvili. So four.
Yeah.
Tusishvili we've seen, and unfortunately he lost out to Teddy Riner in his round 2 contest. The first look at Okrashvili, and we've yet to see Matiashvili or Lipatiliani. They both had buys into the second round. Their contests are coming up shortly.
Okrashvili is most probably one of the more experienced of all the Georgians that are here in this competition. A lot of experience under this athlete's belt. But picks up the first Judo there, one apiece, just to get them started.
There's quite a lot above that belt as well.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything.
How heavy is Okrashvili?
He's obviously, I think he's got to be one of the heaviest. In fact, he is the heaviest. Tipping the scales at 173.5 kilos.
He must just shade whoever was at the... Who else was up at 170 odd?
Lipatiliani, also a Georgian, they obviously love the grub, was 163 kilos.
That can't be right. There's no way that Lipatiliani's 163 kilos.
Or maybe it might be 103.
Yeah, 103 is probably right, but...
Looks like a 6 here.
Someone's made an error in writing that up. Because Lipatiliani fights at under 100 kilos.
Yeah, that must be a...
So for him to be 103,
it must be 103
part of the
then.
course, but...
Yeah, it's just the way it's written.
It is.
It does look like a 6 there.
163 there, yeah. Whoever wrote that down.
Well, we have the Algerian. He tipped that. No, he wasn't the... Okrashvili isn't the heaviest. You've got Timar,
Yeah,
of
he's the big boy.
Algeria, he's 178.4.
Right, so
Big lads.
Okarashvili in there at number 2. 2 Shidos on the board against Gordienko. Not looking good for the Ukrainian at the moment. Needs to come up with a score.
Looking
and a
there
little
with
bit more activity.
Uchimata. Oh, it's stumbling both ways. With a minute and a half remaining in this contest. Gordienko there. Looked, he had an opportunity there. Sadly didn't fulfill those chances that he had with the Uchimata combination. Okarashvili was looking for the counter, as you can see, the arm around the waist as he tries to lever his opponent. But landed first on his back there.
He did indeed, but there was no technique from Gordienko.
Well, that puts him in the lead anyway, the Georgian, with a minute and 9 seconds remaining. Looks like he's had a bit of a bop on the nose there. Here we hooked him with the Ouchigari. Switched it, looking for the Uchimata.
Yeah.
Oh, there was.
So they've taken that off, and he turns, and he lands on top of Okarashvili. And the rule is that.
Well, it's been changed.
Yeah.
Yes.
The rule is that where there is a Keishiwaza, an attempted counter technique, the one who lands on his back first, as Ritter quite clearly
there you have
pointed
it
out,
again. There's another one.
gives up the score. They haven't given anything there. So Gordienko leads with 30-odd seconds left to go. Okarashvili having attempted that Keishiwaza, he landing on his back first. He's gone again.
Yeah. And this
He's
time
just
straight
given
into
up, given
Yosemi.
Party's over. He's not going anywhere. Yeah, it wasn't the finest hour from Okarashvili, I'm afraid.
No, he was just waiting for the Keishiwaza all the time.
Didn't happen. Gordienko was the fighter who came up with the score. Rightly, as Loretta pointed out, that he landed first in the attempted counter, and as a result of that, the score went against him.
Well, there was some nice judo from Gordienko with the Uchimata combination, and he was engaging all the time in that contest, and he deserved the win. There's no doubt about it. The Georgian just played too much of a bit of a waiting game and trying to pick off possibly the mistakes that Gordienko might have made, but he didn't make any this time. So.
And the winner in the white judo for the Ukraine, Alexander Gordienko.
Right, well that one is done and dusted. Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
You can see the highlights on the big screen.
There you have it.
Next round, in the white judo from Russia.
The Uchimata, he still had that foot hooked in.
Yeah. Right, coming up next, Anton Krivobokov of Russia faces Andy Granda of Cuba. It's Krivobokov in the white judogi, Granda in blue.
Well, Krivobokov, representing Russia, tipped the scales 166 kilos. Andy Granda, 101 kilos. Oh my goodness, that's 65 kilos of a difference. That's a
weight.
lot, isn't it? That's a real lot of weight. Well, all I can say is I hope the Grande of Cuba can move very quickly, because he'll need to.
There's a bit interesting information for you. Useless information, I'm afraid. There are 3 people on the mat, right? 3 people on the mat. And one of them weighs more than the other 2 put together.
Yeah, it's true.
Granda weighs in at 101, and I'm sure Amano Akiko, the referee, the Japanese referee in the middle, weighs no more than 52 kilos.
Definitely no more than 52. I would say 48.
Well, she was a 48 kilo fighter.
Yeah.
She probably put on a couple of kilos. We'll give her 50, 51 maybe. That is it. Okay, 52. I think when you're finished competing, whatever weight you competed at, 5, 6, 7, 8 kilos to put on after that is perfectly acceptable, because you're, as an athlete at 48 kilos, you're wafer thin, and you really have to get back to the kind of normal, everyday weight.
Well, I'll take that, Sheldon. I'll be quite happy to take that sort of comment.
5, 6, 7, 8 kilos. We're not gonna ask.
No. It's being happy within your skin.
Yeah. I think when you go up 3 weight categories, that might be a bit tricky. And end up at about 70 kilos. That might be pushing it a bit for a 52 kilo fighter. We're not there.
No,
So you don't have to
Let
worry.
me say we're not there. I think many years ago I had tipped the scales of that, but I was actually 9 months pregnant.
Oh, well, in that case,
hitting the scales of about 70 odd
there's
kilos.
a reasonable excuse
Yes,
for that,
yeah.
given that you ended up with...
Bump and all, but
Well, how heavy is your boy? He's 6'1", isn't he? Your boy.
my boy's 6'1", yes. He's a big lad.
What does he weigh in at now?
He's around about 80, 83 kilos,
size
something
then.
like that. He's a big lad.
He's in good shape.
Yeah, he's a good lean
6'1",
lad.
yeah.
He's got arms like an orangutan.
No score yet, minute 20 odd left to go. Granda's picked up the 2 penalties, Krivabokov just the 1. He hasn't been able to get that 160
Granda
kilos
really
going.
needs... Oh, well, there was a
almost.
close one there, but I was just about to say he's hitting his opponent static, and that's very dangerous for the Cuban. He's not got the weight or the size to be able to power someone that's got 60 kilos more than you without getting that little bit of movement. We know the Russians are very strong and they're very capable of throwing big, and Granda has to really start trying to open up and creating some space between him and his opponent, and look at the feet and trying to break the balance there. Maybe look to switching to take the Russian onto his rear, working with the Oichigaris, the Osotas, stepping across there rather than actually turning his back on the Russian. Krivabokov there, as you can see, with that right hand over the top, in deep, controlling quite nicely the upper body of the Cuban. Comes back with the Kosota, knocks his opponent down and comes between the legs. Knocked him onto his bottom first, so wouldn't have got the Wazari. Well, now we're going to the golden score, 2 Shidos to 1. The Cuban obviously in a much more dangerous position. with the new rules coming along, this won't be the case, will it, in the golden score?
Yeah, Granda can only lose with
Well,
the third penalty.
Well, the third penalty, I suppose, it is still difficult when you've got two. There's only one more you can achieve. Kosota there.
Yeah, well, it's Kriva Bogov who lands on his
and he
back.
lands. Yeah. And Granda goes through to the next round, which is a very silly mistake that was made there by the Russian.
The winner for Cuba,
Andy Granda sees off the challenge of Anton Krivabokov. A bit of a disappointment from the Russian there. Not really showing his best. Let's take a look at some of the highlights and then we'll be back with our next round 2 contest.
Well, he'll be up against Godorenko of the Ukraine. I think that will be a very big challenge for the Cuban. And there is some of the highlights. Kosota came round the back but just left the upper body control opened, and Granda just capitalised on that, switching, as you can see, upper body control, turned the head, followed through the movement of the Russian and pulling on that left sleeve, right shoulder.
Well, the next contest features Najib Temar of Algeria. He's up against Alexander Mikhailin of Russia. It's Temar in the white judogi, Mikhailin in blue. It's got a good draw, Mikhailin, you know.
It's not a bad draw at all.
You should do this. Maybe a bit difficult after this because it will be Mare or Sasson.
Yes, that will be
Different proposition.
a much more challenging one.
Well, in any case, he's got to get past Temar first. How heavy is Temar? Temar's the guy
Temar's
that we were talking about.
He's the heaviest.
178.
178 tips the scales. Heaviest in this weight category.
He's the big man then.
Mikhailin wants to be in control of this contest. He moves his opponent a little bit more, keeping himself very light on his feet. Mikhailin controlling his opponent's left sleeve. His left hand on the lapel there, trying to control and use that with the opportunity of moving this heavyweight. But picks up the first Shido there, which I'm quite surprised that both of them didn't pick up a Shido apiece. Oh, lovely Ouchigari there. Wazari scored. Now following through into the Niwaza, trying to get that leg out, but not making too much of an effort there. Just quite happy to stick with the Kochi Ouchigari. And if you're going to move a heavyweight like that, going to the rear is most probably the safest and more effective option.
2 minutes and Mikhailin leads by Wazari. He's picked up the single Shido, which I don't think is going to trouble him now. He'd have to get 2 more. And if he's clever, he can avoid that. He's in a good position here, the Russian.
He's got that nice left hand up onto the lapel, controlling quite nicely there, and he's a big lad. Doesn't have the weight, but he has the height that makes him look in control and looks very positive. He's an upright fighter. Keeping those hands at bay, controlling, avoiding any unnecessary turns of Makakomis coming from the Algerian. And that's always the danger when the bigger lads tend to rotate and turn their back, and that amount of weight and size that starts to rotate, it becomes very difficult for an athlete to get off. They'll both pick up a Judo apiece, and that Michaelin with 2. One more would result in the Hansokimaki. They're just under a minute remaining in this contest. Tema coming in for the Uchimata. Really didn't have too much of a flair to that, or a breaking of balance. Kosota, and he caught him again, a Wazari. He's literally flat on his back at that stage. So 2 Wazaris and just... Oh, he sat him on his bottom first. Continue to rotate back. Again, nicely controlled. Once more, a rear technique, which just shows you the vulnerability that the Algerian has to the rear. It's very much open to the rear attacks. Tema looking to come in, turn his back for a Makakomi. Michaelin sensed that quite nicely and released his grip. Well, with just 13 seconds remaining, Michaelin looking in a very good position to go through to the next round. Algerian stepping across, looking to Anuchimata. But Michaelin goes through to the next round.
Untroubled?
Definitely untroubled. He played that contest very well. Tactically, he knew exactly where the weakest point for Tema was, and that was definitely to the rear every time.
2 contests under his belt now, Michalin. I don't know how much you get for each round, but it's 2 rounds into the bank, if you like.
Well, he'll be definitely challenged in the next match that's coming up, but the winner of the next 2, Marrakech of France in the white and Sasson of Israel in blue. So this is going to be a very interesting match.
Yeah, they're the highlights of the contest between Tema and Michalin. But coming up next, Cyril Marais of France faces Sasson of Israel. It'll be Marais in the white judogi, Sasson in blue. Sasson was previously an under 100 kilo fighter. Marais still is, but has just moved up recently to have a bash at this. He said he's going to be back down to...
Oh, is he going to go down?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought it might have been a permanent step up into
He's just decided to flirt with this weight category.
I like that way you've saying flirt. Flirting away. Well, he flirted very nicely in Abu Dhabi anyway, didn't he? So
scored.
Yes.
Sasson has got to be careful not to get caught on the back foot here. He could easily fall into the trap of thinking that there is longer on the clock than there really is, because Marais moves nicely, burns up the clock very, very quickly, and before you know it, you find yourself behind and chasing someone who's tactically very, very good.
Yeah,
that's one of his stronger efforts. Go ahead.
Well, Sasson there with the drop Sianagi. That was a nice move, dropping under his opponent. Just didn't have that little finish to the end. But still a very good attack. Maret has to be very careful he doesn't walk onto those Sianagis. Well, Sasson looking a little bit cooler out there. Maret looking a little bit apprehensive. He's backing off slightly. He doesn't look as comfortable as his opponent does at this particular moment. The drop Sianagi once more, another good attack, breaking the balance of his opponent. And the referee will be topping these up, and this is where Maret has got to be careful that so far we haven't really seen a strong attack. An attempt of an Osota from Sasson once more. Maret, you can see with that right hand high up onto the collar, trying to control Sasson's head and the shoulder coming down, but still hasn't followed it through with an attack. So it's just a strong grip, but not wanting to finish. He draws his opponent's arm across his chest, but walks on the back.
Calls of Wazari from some of the French supporters, but there wasn't quite enough there.
I think overexcitable, I think they would say.
They want to replay that to see if there was any control. Yeah, this is what they're going to be looking at.
Oh, yeah, there was.
Oh, he gets the top half down. He doesn't get any of the leg. There's no leg, nothing on the side, and they still give. Well,
I'm surprised on that.
Wazari.
They had the shoulder, there was no doubt about it.
Yeah,
so I suppose where it comes, the back is what we're looking for. From the OB upwards to the shoulder is really where we're. So he gets the score just on that. It's not so much from the hips below.
So Maret it is who leads, and as I was saying, look how quickly the time has gone.
Just coming up to the last minute, and a Wazari on the board for Maret. But still a long time to go. 1 minute's a long time if someone's chasing you.
And the Osota!
Oh, yes! Score there. Definitely a lovely score. A Wazari, and now into the Osakomi. Nicely done, and Maret can see himself going into the next round. And he'll be up against Mikhailin of Russia. So that'll be a very interesting match.
There's just as much support for Cyril Maret.
Oh, that's lovely, isn't it?
There is for Teddy Ritter.
Yes. Well, they've been teammates for a long, long time, very close friends. So whether he's flirting or not, it's still a nice effort there, and another place closer to those medals.
Cyril Maret, he's happy with that one. Buying the first round, a second round win against the Olympic bronze medalist at under 100, at plus 100 kilos as well. So. Right then, Maret it is, who came up with a nice Osodo at Taitoshi maybe. Yeah, well he shaped for the Osodogari at first, didn't he? That's what that was. Right, coming up next, Levani Matiashvili of Georgia faces Andrei Kolesnik of Ukraine. It's Matiashvili in the white judogi, Kolesnik in blue. Matiashvili with the closely shaved head this time. Going for the mean look. Kolesnik with a little bit of a a foot tap that brings Matiashvili down onto his front, and the Georgian has to defend on the ground as Kolesnik attempts a turnover, but it's not the strongest. And he doesn't manage to threaten Matiashvili with that turnover. In fact, Matiashvili almost turns Kolesnik over. In the case, the referee calls Mate, and they back up on their feet. A 3:20 odd left to go. No score as yet. Kolesnik is the one with the grip around the back here, just looking that little bit more threatening as Matiashvili breaks the grip up, and Kolesnik goes back up and around the collar on the right side. Matiashvili with a rather untidy looking Makikomi effort that doesn't go anywhere. He doesn't set himself up properly for that, but he's got a chance here if he can free the left leg. Got the hand in there as well, Kolesnik, so the referee will stop that. Calls Mate, back up on their feet. 2.5 minutes left to go. Definitely going over on the right side there, and on the way back out, Kolesnik had a little tap at the foot. Didn't come off, and Kolesnik has now picked up a penalty for passivity. Still single Shido against Kolesnik with 1:20 odd left to go. Ukraine picked up a second penalty in that last exchange there. So the advantage with the Georgian with a little over a minute left to go. Matiashvili doing the right thing here, just putting in sufficient enough attacks to make himself look busy. 2 penalties against Kolesnik, even if it goes into golden score. The real advantage is with the Georgian here. No score. The 2 penalties picked up by Kolesnik will be carried over into the golden score period, so a single error from the Ukrainian will put him out. Matiashvili, however, has got that little bit of a cushion as far as the penalties are concerned. Yeah, the Georgian gives the impression of just being prepared to do enough to look busy, without running the risk of coming up with a big technique. Hasn't really opened himself up and attacked Kolesnik strongly. Just thrown in an attack here or there. He takes a whack to the face there, purely accidentally from Kolesnik. And they get back underway. A minute of golden score gone. There's a lovely finish from Matiashvili, just threw him like a rag doll there. A tired looking Kolesnik got rolled for Ippon, left-sided, left Taratoshi from Matiashvili. Just stepped onto that. There was zero resistance left physically from Kolesnik. And Ivani Matiashvili goes into round 3 having dumped Kolesnik out of the competition.
Well, that's definitely a way of putting it. Dumped, definitely.
He had no resistance to that at the end, did he?
Just
Poor old Kolesnik went over that outstretched leg very easily in the end. There you go. It's like something that you'd see in a Randori session, you know? All at it in there.
woof, steps right across. Shibirima, over he goes. Look at the elbow tucked under the armpit, which accelerated and kept control. Lovely technique.
Matiashvili through to round 3. Coming up next, our first look at this pair. Toma Nikiforov of Belgium. He faces Adil Hadji of Morocco. It's Nikiforov in the white judogi, Hadji in blue.
Wasn't it Nikiforov that's just got engaged just recently?
Did he? Oh,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I shall ask him.
Yeah, well, I'm quite sure I read that somewhere in the latest news of this young man from Belgium. Nevertheless, it's not going to take his mind off here and now at this competition. Had an outstanding performance, picked up a silver medal in Abu Dhabi last week. And this year he's done extremely well. And he's built up to this open event where he'll be hoping to do extremely well, I'm quite sure. Hadji of Morocco. Oh, and a lovely drop, Sianagi there. Nikiforov picking up the Ippon, and sigh of relief there. Nicely executed. And he'll be up against Matiashvili, representing Georgia a little bit later on. So that will be a very interesting match indeed. Both very good throwers, great technicians, and here's the highlights of that very match. Takes the lapel and the sleeve, sidesteps and drops right under his opponent. The same lapel, well executed and nicely finished. And a place into the quarterfinals of this men's open.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome for the next competitors. In the white judogi from Senegal, Tabaknik Nadai. And in blue for Cuba, Alex Garcia Mendoza.
So now coming up from Senegal, Nadai in the white gi, and representing Cuba in the blue is Garcia Mendoza. Now, this is the first match for both these athletes in Pool D of this open category. Garcia Mendoza there, as you can see, with the left hand on the lapel, controlling quite nicely. Nadai, quite a big athlete, as you can see, very tall indeed, and could create quite a lot of problems here for the Cuban. Garcia Mendoza tipped the scales of 134 kilos. Nadai 122, so slight weight disadvantage from Senegal, but he's picked up the advantage of definitely the height against his opponent. He's got his right hand on his opponent's left side as he draws, this time trying to come over the back and stepping across what looks to be the Uchimata that he's going for. Garcia Mendoza, the left hand on the lapel, just controlling, but neither one of them really making much of an impact in this contest. Both picking up a Shido apiece. Tianagi there from Nadai. He's not really taking full advantage of those long limbs that you can see here in our picture. You would expect this big man to be able to throw that arm over the top and have much more control. As you see, he throws the arm there and plays a bit of a waiting game, steps across using those feet to try and break his opponent's balance, but really doesn't have the conviction to come through and for the big scores. A little bit of a playing of a waiting game. Garcia Mendoza comes over across with a Makakomi, steps right in front of his opponent. Sadly didn't get the upper body control and rotation that he was hoping for, but nevertheless a nice strong attack from the Cuban. Nadai, as you can see, coming back over the top, doesn't seem to be able to engage with the grips and control as much as he was hoping for. A little bit scrappy out there, and just battles away with this what looks to be an attempt of an Ashiwaza, but really making much of an impact. Well, the third and final Shido goes to Senegal. Nadai, hand Sokumaki, but Garcia Mendoza goes through to the next into the quarterfinal of this Open. Russia in the blue. Bislutanov. Oh, Bislutanov there controlling quite nicely, representing Russia in the blue gi. Great performance in the previous round. Where he defeated Hovrak of the Czech Republic. Well, it's been a real battle between these two athletes. Neither one of them really making too much of an impact in the contest as they battle away with 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. Well, Bislutanov there taking the lead with 1 minute and 40 seconds. Koichi controlled very nicely as his opponent attempted to counter him. Just accelerated the actual move into scoring a Wazari. So with 1 minute 30 remaining, a nice comfortable lead there for Russia. Ukraine coming across with the Osota. Very close.
See, this is where, as the 100 kilo category fighter, who they're normally that little bit fitter.
Definitely, yeah.
And you carry that fitness level into the last minute. You can just throw in those few attacks where the heavier guy, he's already blowing, isn't he? You know, he's finding it difficult to be upright.
You can see just with the grip styles there, he's coming over the top. He's drawing his opponent's head down. It just looks like he's controlling this whole contest.
And you can see the frustration on Karmo's face here as this one is getting away from him. Single score to Adlan Bislutanov. Yeah, that one Osoto effort a few seconds ago, Karmo, that just unsettled Bislutanov.
It was a close match. It was very close attack. I was surprised that Bislutanov did well to get off it.
Last few seconds, end time enough for Karmo to come up with one big effort if he can get hold of Bislutanov, but
it looks like he's capable of doing that right now.
This one's gotten away from him, I'm afraid.
Well, again, another convincing win for Bisultanov, who's looking actually very strong out there. He's moving these big lads, isn't he?
And he's only, is it 103, did we
Yes.
say? Yeah. He's not bad, huh?
Well, that's what helps when you've got judo.
Yeah, he's got nice judo.
He's got nice judo.
Yeah. So Bisultanov it is who goes into round 3, giving himself a bit of a run out in the plus 100 kilo category. Big hug from
a lovely
Vyacheslav
display of
Kamo.
sportsmanship there.
Well, Kamo won the European Judo Union's Spirited Judo Award one year when he fought in the Junior European Championships, the final of the Junior Europeans, and his Russian opponent injured his leg, and he lifted him up and carried him off the mat, which
Really?
we don't normally allow. We don't, we frown on that, but it was an occasion where the Russian was going to limp off the mat, and Kamo went and put his arm around him and helped him off the mat. And given the state of things between the two countries at the time,
yes, I think I can remember that.
We gave him the Spirit of Judo award.
Well, as you can see the score there, he controlled. It just shows the upper body control he had. He was able to rescue there from the counter-attack.
Now, we've seen a few 100-kilo fighters overcome their heavier opponents. Are we going to see the same here? Because Kageura Kokoro of Japan faces Varlam Lipatiliani of Georgia. It's Kageura in the white judogi, Lipatiliani in blue. And just as we saw with Adlan Bisultanov there, Lipatiliani is the danger thrower here.
Definitely.
He really is. And he's got nice throwing skills. There's never a time when you don't see him, attempting that. Guram Tusishvili leaps up onto our podium here, trying to get a vantage point to watch the contest in which Lipatiliani is taking place. He's running down to the front of the stands now to get a good vantage view.
Well, definitely everyone in this, you can't call it a stadium, it's an auditorium, isn't it? It's so small and it creates such a nice atmosphere here, isn't it? You're that close to the contest area, you can hear the thuds.
Yeah, that's always a nice part of being that close. Oh, Chimata from Lipatiliani, he's not finished yet. He had a couple of stabs at that. Mind you, Kageura's got reasonable movement for a big guy, hasn't he? We said that before. He's got the weight.
Well, yes, he's got the weight,
movement.
but he's agile, there's no doubt about it. The biggest threat is those hip throws. He can turn his back, and if he does, that's where he becomes very dangerous.
Teddy Rinner's name is up on the board again. 2 fights time. He's headed by Ilias Iliadis and Roy Meyer. Look at the lineup there. Kageura and Lipatiliani, Meyer and Iliadis, Rinner and Chabela, and then we get Simionescu and Batolga bringing up the rear. We've got some big contests coming up here. Ritter and I have already sneaked off to have a snack, so we're not going anywhere. We're definitely not going to miss any of this. Well, I sneaked off to have a snack.
I was going to say, no, I didn't. I didn't see any snacks.
Shaking her head there. Sorry about that.
I'm sitting here with my tummy rumbling.
Almost.
It was.
He tries to finish off, but not quite.
The elbow was cocked up in the air there a little bit, so he lost that little bit of direction. As you can see, that elbow didn't exactly generate as much power and rotation off the finish of that attack. But nevertheless, he had him flying through the air. Had him worried, as we would say.
Well, it's the closest that anyone's come to scoring. Kageura's picked up a penalty. He picked up a penalty immediately after that attack. That penalty was for passivity. He's a little bit on the back foot here.
Uchimata again.
And then Kageura almost came up with a counter.
Now, there wasn't any seeding for this Open at all, so everyone's been just thrown into the mix, and we've just seen what's come from that. And was there any sort of qualification or selection process of...
You fancy it?
You fancy you're in?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Very interesting.
You want to give it a go? Give it a go.
You have to be a very brave person,
yeah.
though, don't you, when you're up against in the heavyweights.
Single Shido against Kagaura. 30-odd seconds left to go. Libertiniani has made a good go of this.
Kagura is starting to look quite tired out there. He's not sparking at all. Lipiteliani has piled a lot of pressure on in the last minute or so. And there you got it, Uchimata into a Makekomi. And
he's playing the waiting game, Kagaura now. He's looking to counter.
He's not been. He's looked very flat every time he's come out so far. Not been impressed at all.
He's had a couple of Morote Senagi efforts low down, where he's turned in well but not been able to finish, and that's off Lipitiliani. And Lipitiliani's just done the right thing here. He's put in enough attacks to keep himself busy. He misses there, just at the end. But what he does is he takes the advantage of being Shido free. He hasn't picked up a penalty, Lipitiliani. Kagaura has picked up a single error in this golden score period, and that's Kagaura out. And watching in the background, you could see Ilias Iliadis.
Well, Kagagura there, as you can see, is just put in the first 2 attacks now in this golden score. The drop Sianagi stepped across for what looked to be as if he was attempting the tire toss. He didn't get across far enough, but now we've got this turnover that he's trying to secure a hold down with. And I'm not sure if he's controlled it enough.
No, not for me. There are a few people who've called Osai-Komi, but I don't think so. Yeah, a little bit different if he rolls him here. Now that's different because he's got both of his legs, but both his knees were on the ground there. Up until that point, he was sitting down. But this is different. Yoko Shiogatami from Kagaura. And Lipitiliani had stopped there because he didn't have control of him, and he was just laying on top of him. And in the end, Kagaura played the waiting game.
Yes, and it came on top doing it, but he started in the golden score straight away. 2 attacks, 2 strong attacks straight away. Changed it completely.
Yeah, you must have. You're right. They probably can hear us on the big screen, because he probably heard us say that he was at a disadvantage and needed to step up, which is exactly what he did. Poor old Lipitiliani.
As long as he didn't hear me say, I'm not impressed.
We're not impressed. Yeah, I'm not impressed, mate. Yeah.
Not impressed.
He did all the hard work, did Lipitiliani, in the first period, and looked the more likely to score.
Well, definitely, I thought he was the one that, in my eyes, was the person that was going to go through. He gave the whole 4 minutes. He controlled. He gave the attacks. He did enough there, but just didn't score, and that's what it comes down to. You need to put the score on the board for it to count.
Yeah, Lipitiliani was untidy going into the Newaza exchange. He didn't cover Kagaura. He went off to one side, and Kagaura just grabbed the arm and rolled him. It's rather basic, I'm afraid. Oh well. Lipitiliani goes out.
Well, this will be a very interesting match coming up very shortly. Roy Meyer and Ilias Iliadis.
The last of the round 2 contests. And as Ritter has just said, Roy Meyer of the Netherlands in the white judogi faces Ilias Iliadis of Greece in blue. There he is. I've no idea what it's like to compete against a legend.
No.
Roy Meyer will tell us afterwards. Ilias Iliadis won the Olympic Games at under 81 kilos in 2004. We're now 2017, so you can do the maths on that and see how many years ago that is. Given Roy Meyer's age now, whatever he is, how old was he when Iliadis won that Olympic title? And what was he doing? He was probably doing some, Kerkrada cadet competition when Iliadis was winning the Olympic title,
Yes.
And yet here he is facing the big man. Uchimata
Was probably an absolute
Iliadis.
hero of his growing up. Yeah.
How old is Meyer? Is he 24? He's 11 or something. Maybe he hadn't even started judo yet.
That's probably not. He was still riding his bike.
Yeah. Going for his yellow belt test. I think the longer it goes on, the more interesting this contest will be. Maya may have a little bit of a burst at the beginning, but the possibility that Iliadis will be worn down by Maya over 4 minutes for me is non-existent. It's. Well, he's had to call Mate. That was against the chin. Iliadis has just got too much experience and too much staying power. Oh, just got clapped around the ear there. It's not right, is it? And Iliadis is
They're most
looking at
probably
him.
saying to him, "Do you not know who I am?
Right.
I was
What
your
you- yeah,
hero."
what are you doing? Yeah. Just give him a whack around the ear, and Iliadis looked at him as to say, "Hey, that's not part of the game." Minute 50 left to go. Plenty of time. Maya just taking a breather here, having given that first attack wave that was repulsed by Iliadis, or repelled, and now we're going to see how he gets on here. That's a big effort.
Oh, a lovely
Yeah.
Osota,
Yeah.
nicely executed.
Strong.
Iliadis goes over with very little resistance on that one.
He's out there. Well, it was the rest that did it for him. He needed to take a breather, which he did, and then launch something really big.
nicely
Iliadis just
executed.
gets his arm down.
Well, as you can see with that lapel, it was actually caught up on Iliadis' head. He could not rotate to actually counter or get out of that. He was only going one way, and that was down onto his side there for the Wazari. Roy Meyer, 26 years of age.
26, okay, so he was 13 then. No, he was younger, he was 11. He was 11. I think 11, yeah. Well, we've got a little under a minute here for Iliadis to come up with something. Maya's going to be backpedaling all the way. He just pushes that left arm into the right hip of Iliadis. That's got nothing to do with any grip. He just wants to keep that right hip away.
Well, there's the danger, and he'll pick up a Shido for that. Yeah. Well, he's got a fan club here, as you can hear in the background. Iliadis, they're all calling for him. They're a bit of a hero in most judo fans' eyes, really. And that encouragement is only going to help him. So with 17 seconds remaining, Meyer still maintains a lead of a Wazari.
This is it here. He's backpedaling all the way. Meyer's not going to be opening up at all.
No, and he's got... The clock is ticking away, and it's not on the side of Iliadis, I don't think.
Take a dive there. Yeah, let's take a second.
That's another.
5 seconds.
So unless he does something very silly.
Go now.
Well, Meyer's maintained that lead. Iliadis, well, what have I got to do, he says. That little cheeky smile, and The sportsmanship, he just shakes his head. I think that just says it all, really.
He's going to do incredible things after he stops fighting.
Oh, definitely. He's a
in
fantastic
judo.
ambassador for British judo, for international judo. There's no doubt about it.
He's not going away. This
He's
is
such a personality, isn't
And the
he?
winner in white for the Netherlands, Roy
I was speaking to him yesterday. There was a judo display in the square, and he was there watching. And he was talking quite a lot about wanting to travel, and especially like going to New Zealand. He's got this thing about New Zealand. He wants to go to New Zealand, see what the judo's like there, and Australia. He has such ambitions to travel the world and see his sport.
it's not often that you really get to see. It was a standing ovation for Ilias Iliadis as he walks off as well. It's not often that you get to see a real great. But he absolutely is, and it could be the last time that we've seen him on the mat competitively as well.
He's a lovely guy.
He can come up here and say
Well, he's
hello.
come up.
He's going to come and say hi.
I'll
Why
get a
not?
sweaty cuddle.
Say hello to your fans. Hello, guys.
Congratulations. It was unlucky, but we love watching you. The
I
big
try my
smile
best.
says it all, doesn't it?
So this is for young generation what I do. I want to show every young generation. Try, work every day, 24 hours.
Well, you're definitely our hero, and there's no about it. You've
That's
been
this competition for young generation. I'm sure.
yes, definitely. Well,
Thank
you're
you,
one of the
thank you.
role models we want to
Thank you.
have. Well, he's definitely got my vote.
I've got the sweaty headphones, by the way. But hey, it's Ilias Iliadis, so what?
Yes, yeah.
Right, on the mat now, another hero. Teddy Ritter of France faces Faisal Chabela of Tunisia. Iliadis is the only one who could have delayed our introduction of Teddy Ritter. It wouldn't have happened any other way.
No, definitely not.
I'm going to have to get these headphones
Well, this
wiped.
is well, this is for a place in the quarterfinal, and I'm still finding myself sitting here smiling because he's out of the competition, but he's just left his mark here in this tournament, hasn't he? And those smiles, and that's going to be with us all in our hearts. Really, he's a great guy, and yes, he's, like you say, he's got so much to offer the world of judo.
Chabela in real problems there as he picks up a second penalty within the first minute. That's completely as a result of the power gripping by Ritter. Chabela, such a strong individual anyway, but just out-gripped by Teddy Ritter.
And he's got that height advantage as well that allows him to reach over the top, draw his opponent down, and just keep his opponent at bay, really, without actually having to commit too much.
And this is the first unattractive contest that we've seen Ritter in today. Both of his previous opponents have both come out there and given it as good a go as they could, but Chabela is just, outclassed here. I'm not even going to say outgunned because Ritter hasn't had to fire a shot yet.
No, definitely not. It's just an engagement all the time, that arm being thrown over the top. It's just the actual threat is enough to keep Chabela from actually engaging or trying.
Yeah, he's unsettled.
He's threatened all the time.
2 minutes, Ritter with a chance here.
Well, there, the also to
That's what he was
Makakoni,
afraid of.
and that's it. Well,
Gone now. But Ritter, a little bit like Kageura, did the right thing. He played the waiting game.
Yes.
There must come a time when your opponent is going to make a mistake. Chabela made one there. He was out of position. He's
and
turned
he turned his back to run away.
to avoid that grip.
Yes.
And then the minute that Ritter could get hold of him, bang, over he went. And that's another good win for Teddy Ritter. It may not have been the most attractive, but if you just look at what his tactics were, Ritter played that perfectly. Wait for an opening where you can crush your opponent, put him under so much pressure that he makes a mistake, and he did. He came under that gripping pressure again. He wanted to turn away. He turned his back on him. The absolute don't ever do,
Yes.
especially against Teddy Riner. And by the time he looked to turn back, whack, Teddy was in with a big Oseta over.
And was in control throughout the whole contest.
3 for 3, Teddy Riner, and he's back in the white judogi.
Clean kit and all.
Yeah, Faisal Chabela outgunned at the end, outclassed. And you know that's a strong guy. Faisal Chabela is a strong guy. Well, he's really looking the part, isn't he?
Oh, he's massive, isn't he?
He would have paid to see Teddy Riner, and what was really nice is that he just walked past us at the back.
And gave them
all
all
the
high
kids
fives.
and all high-fiving with the kids and that, you know.
real engagement.
We got two absolute superstars at the moment in Teddy Riner and Ilyas Ilyadis, and I think Loretta was right when she suggested that one of the reasons that we don't see the same kind of behaviour from Riner as we see with Ilyadis is, you know, Riner's focus is as a
Yes.
competitor right now. He's got to look at that first, you know, and all of the, you know, niceties of ambassadorial work and everything, they're going to come, but at the moment he's got bigger fish to fry.
Yes, definitely.
You know,
yeah.
we'll get him later on, but at the moment, you know, he's got something else on his mind. And what we've got up next is Vlad Simionescu of Romania. He's up against Batulga Temolin of Mongolia. It's Simionescu in the white judogi, Batulga in blue, and here's Loretta Cusack.
Yeah, and the winner of this match will go on to meet Teddy Riner for a place in the semi-final. In the quarter-final, I should say. I'm getting one ahead of myself here.
That's okay, we want to get there, but
Excited about it. And he most probably is the same as well. How many more do I have to go?
I think it's great as well that we are getting to see, you know, this number of fights from Teddy Riner, because normally that's it, done and dusted. First round by 3 fights when they're presenting the gold medal. Whereas now he's into the quarterfinal. We've got a quarterfinal, a semi-final, and a final if he makes it that far. We're halfway to seeing Teddy Riner, and we've seen him 3 times already.
Yes, yeah.
So it's a real treat for us here.
Well, when you think 40 judokas that are competing,
it's a good number.
and
good
the
number.
list that we have in front of us, they're just, it's some quality athletes performing here in this weight division.
I think next time, and I'm not sure when the next time will be, the next time we have an open, we're going to have even more. My suggestion to the International Judo Federation would be that they hold it in, 2018 would have been a better year, because that would have been 1 year, 2 years after the Olympics and 2 years before the next
Yes.
Olympics. So that halfway through you have your open, and you have your open every 4 years. So there's something else for the IJF to look forward to. We have that 4-year Olympic cycle, and then we have a 4-year World Open cycle. So for me that would be, you know, the ideal placement in the calendar.
It makes sense.
And
Problem
I
is
think
the
we'd have
yes, I think the
have
problem
more
is the
people.
qualifications, isn't it? The start of the qualifications next year in 2018. Everyone's so focused on, and it's an element of a risk, isn't it? Because you've got
There is,
some of the
yeah,
under
there is,
hundreds participating, which
Taking a bit of a go. So maybe this is the best place to have it. A year after the Olympic Games, 3 years before the next one. Although I think one of the biggest draws is that €500,000 share up there.
yes,
And we share, by the way, 250, men and women. There's no, like tennis, you know, you
Yes,
get more
yeah.
for being a man or whatever. No, this is the sum of money. We divide that up equally between men and women, and you take your
well, I
money.
suppose like a year after the Olympic Games, what you would find sometimes in Olympic Games, they win the Olympic title,
Take a break.
and then they take a break or they retire.
Yes, yeah,
This is
yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit of
yeah.
incentive just to keep them going, for just so that we can celebrate those Olympic medalists, and maybe by taking the pressure off the under 100s and the under 78s, to keep them back going for just another 9-10 months, that we can sort of still celebrate and see them on the mat again.
But Olga's going to steal this one with that Kamisho Gatami. Simionescu fell into that. purely by accident, and Batolga snatched that chance, secured the Osai Waza. And that's the second one that he's shaded. I can't remember who it was that he fought in round 2.
Hedgie.
And he kind of sneaked past him as well. It wasn't the most attractive of wins, but hey, there's
and Hedgie did really well. He fought well in that match, but just made that ultimate mistake, didn't he?
So it'll be Batolga to give Teddy a working out in the first of the quarterfinals. It's not a bad draw for the Frenchman, having really gotten past one of the most difficult fighters in Gurem Tusishvili.
Yes.
In round 2. Krakovetsky, he reasonable little run out there as the opening contest. Chabela, he outfoxed by just waiting for the Tunisian to make a mistake, and we'll see how he gets on.
I think Tusishvili was the one that
good contest
was going to be the one that was going to challenge, and he's got that, and I think that was maybe the hard one.
Right, Alexander Vachaviak of Belarus faces Ojitani Takeshi of Japan. It's Vachaviak in the white judogi, Ojitani in blue, and it was Dr. Lisa Allen on the stadium announcer there.
Yes.
Demonstrating her flexibility in different roles. Here we go.
Well, a battle of the grips at this moment, trying to secure and control Ojitani there. Bit of a bop on the ear there as he stepped across.
Both of them got a bit of a whack.
Bit of a clash there, wasn't it, of the heads?
Vachaviak rubs his left ear. Ojitani has no difficulty in locating his. The swelling on it is huge.
Well, it says he throws that arm across, as you can see, that right hand.
Whack.
And he throws
again.
the arm and the heads clash together because he takes it off to the side rather than directly back.
But I'm blaming Vachaviak for this because he's nodded in Ojitani's direction on a couple of occasions, unnecessarily. You know, there's been no movement from the body, it's just the head. He just pushed the head over there a couple of times.
But what's happening is that Ojitani is throwing that arm over, the right hand over, but he's also got the left hand on that is pulling the shoulder down, so the head is actually
Coming
falling
that
to
way,
the
yeah.
side. So he's actually
Bringing his head
controlling his opponent's head.
Well, we all know the result of a clash of heads on the air.
Yes.
It's only going to result in one thing.
A cauliflower ear. As someone had pointed out one time and said, "Oh, is that what they call a cabbage ear?" No, it's a wrong vegetable. It's a cauliflower ear.
Cabbage ear.
Yes. I'm delighted to say that I was able to dodge that bullet.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I think it's because I was too short. It flew over my head rather than into my head.
There's a style of fighting that appears to attract.
I think if the head tends to tilt forward and more of the head clash one-to-one. But I think the more upright, you tend to avoid it a little bit better.
And it's not a weight category thing. You see it right through the weight categories all the way up.
Oh, goodness, yes. There's no doubt about it.
Vitani on the right side.
Oh, yes. That's a lovely entry there. Just lost the upper body control. Slipped out of his grips. And there's a Hiro Yamashita there.
Two great Japanese champions there. On the left is Mr. Uemura, and as the Ritter just said, Mr. Yamashita on the right side. And we were chatting yesterday to them about the speed with which the qualification period has come around. In May 2018, the qualification period for Tokyo begins, and they both looked genuinely not shocked because they knew it was coming,
yes,
but shocked that it was here or was going to be here so quickly. I remember when London it was announced that London was going to host the 2012 games, I went out to Singapore for that announcement. A friend of mine had been given the ticket to go out there, and he said, you know, we're not going to get it. You go. You know, it'll be a nice thing for you to, you know, like this little pat on the back, you know, something. Go out.
Oh, amazing!
And then we won it.
Oh, brilliant!
Caught there. Vlad. Yeah, Lord Chan was alive at the time, and I travelled out with him. He was, you know, a real big supporter of London 2012. We had a big celebration out there, and I called the same friend who'd given me his ticket to go out there. And I said, I bet you wish you'd come now.
I can remember that as if it was just yesterday. Well, Ojatani there's taken a very comfortable lead with 2 Wazaris and just under a half a minute remaining
to go
in this contest.
The point being that each games comes round very, very quickly. You think you've got plenty of time, but before you know it,
definitely not.
it's upon you. And London came round. It came and went. Rio, I did the same thing. I went to Copenhagen for that announcement. Again, the same friend gave up his ticket because he was very busy organising the London end of things. He said, this time you can go legitimately, and Rio got that, and that came and went before.
I just wish I had a couple of friends like yours.
Well, they are your friends actually, but I'm not going to say who it is. But you can probably have a good guess. But he's a good friend of both of ours, and he generously said on those 2 occasions, "You go, pal." Two scores for Ajitani. Sees off the challenge of the Belarusian Alexander Vachaviak. It's Ojitani who goes through to the quarterfinal. Have you guessed who it is yet? You don't have to say the name.
Blue for Japan.
I haven't got a clue.
Well, it could only be somebody who would have been in a position of some authority in the British Judo Association, who would then be able to delegate that kind of work to me. Tenzin White.
Tenzin White?
Yeah, Tenz. Yeah, he said, you go, Shell.
Really?
You can represent us well enough. And I did. I did a good job. Princess Anne and Zeb Coe.
Seb Coe, yes.
It was all going.
He was in Abu Dhabi, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Handing out some of the medals in the Abu Dhabi Grand Slam. It was nice to see him mixing and rubbing shoulders with us judo folk.
I'll just tell you very, very quickly, I was really, really sad because Lord Chan, who was a supporter of London 2012, didn't live to see the London Games. He passed away, unfortunately, the year after that. But he was such a nice man and a really, really good speaker. He was very eloquent in putting forward London's case in Asia. And I think we've got a few votes where we didn't expect them to. Right, on the mat now, Alexander Gordienko of Ukraine faces Andy Granda of Cuba. It's Gordienko in the white judogi, Granda in blue.
Well, Granda was a little bit lucky in his previous match,
agreed.
and I don't think he'll have as much luck in Gordienko. I think there's a lot of power behind this Ukraine, and size as well. Granda, one of the lightest in the weight division.
Careful here.
But he's trying to come round the back here, but he's riding on the top of that Uchimata.
Not a good idea.
No, it wasn't one of the wisest things to do, and now finds himself trailing Wazari.
Yeah, that Uranagi from a 90 kilo player on a plus 100 kilo fighter isn't really going anywhere. That's only going to end one way.
Well, there was no acceleration and no speed off that technique at all. He didn't get under his partner, and plus there wasn't any opening there at all. He seemed to just step around the Uranagi. Hips are coming in there, but not in the strongest of positions as far as the grip is concerned. Riding once more the Uchimata.
That was Mark II, and he almost went over again. Vitaly Dubrova, the coach for Ukraine. He's been in the chair for the Ukraine for quite a few years now. Hugely successful coach and very highly respected in the Ukraine, which means he continues to keep his job. The minute you lose your respect at home, you're off. But he's been around for a long time. Ooh.
Well, the Video Refereeing Commission is now looking at this, and as the replay wants to see, she wants to see where the landing was.
Where the head, comes into contact with.
Well, it was a head dive
from Gordienko.
The winner in blue for
That's the
Cuba,
bow.
Andy Granda.
Mr. Gordienko. And he does at the end, but it's an untidy finish.
Well, the luck run out there.
Yeah. He can look at this on the big screen.
Oof.
This is what we're trying to avoid. We
Yes.
want to avoid players executing techniques that are dangerous to themselves or to their opponent. And here,
There it is, that head dive.
For
Oh.
Russia, Alexander Mikhali. And in blue for France,
and of course, when you have that kind of disqualification against you, you're a little bit more careful next time.
Yeah.
That's what they are asking.
Well, what they're wanting is the athletes to be able to come back tournament after tournament, and there's no competition that's worth
Broken neck.
a broken neck.
Coming onto the mat now, Alexander Mikhailin of Russia faces Cyril Marais of France. It's Mikhailin in the white judogi, Marais in blue. Here's Loretta Kusak-Doyle.
Well, again, this is going to be another exciting match. Mikhailin, one of my favourites right at the beginning. A lot of experience under his belt, and Marais, as you can see, has moved up. Well, we're not sure if it's a temporary move, but he's just flirting with the idea, as Sheldon had mentioned earlier on. I just love that, flirting.
He's flirting
Just
with the
since-
idea of the 500,000 euros, a share of
Yes.
that he fancies. Mikhailin
And
stands
who
in
would-
his way at the moment.
And who wouldn't blame him?
A good bit of money.
Well, Mikhailin has been on form today. I've been very impressed with this
Much
man.
better today than he has been for a while.
Yes, there's been a couple of tournaments that you would think, well, is it coming to the end of his career, his competitive career? But based on the performance here today, no, I think he's still got a lot left in the tank.
Marais is the kind of opponent that he didn't need.
No, this young athlete that's nipping away at him and really hasn't too much to prove other than a hell of a lot to gain from this competition, and being in this weight categories, the experience is going to be great for him.
He likes them slightly slower, a little bit more rotund, and he definitely doesn't want anybody with speed. Not when you're hitting 38, you know.
That's it, you just don't need someone that's running about you and nipping at your ankles. Mikhailin picks up a second Shido, which is not good for him. One more would
240,
result in the Hansokimaki with 240 remaining, so it's still a long way in this contest to go. So Mikhailin really has to now start being a little bit more gutsy and engaging into this contest. Marais making his opponent look very passive. It's Temi was a two-footed Tominagi there, and gets the lift that he wanted. Didn't get the rotation at the end, but still, nevertheless, a good attack.
And the thing about this for Marais is that you can put 35 or 40 seconds off the clock after that attack. You know, he can sit back a little bit, you can do a bit of grip fighting and everything, and then we take 40 seconds off there, we're already a minute and a half left on the clock. Marais is incredible at managing
Yes, you've
the
said
clock.
this. Yes, you've said this quite a few times, and
A bit risky there, that one.
and he pays the penalty for it.
And he
Picks up a
didn't need
Shido,
it.
and he didn't. It was a silly mistake, an error to make.
He felt the pressure of the grip from Mikhailin. It was a better grip there from Mikhailin. He just thought, I'm going to throw this one in. Burn a Shido here. You know, they're not that different height-wise, are they? Look.
No.
Mikhailin just that little bit taller, but Marais is not outsized in this kind of contest.
That cross grip was a little bit dangerous there for Marek, coming round on his hip. Has to be very careful in that engagement. As we know, the Russians do like to get very close. And they have the Uranagis as well, so they're very powerful. And Mikhailin's a very powerful athlete, very, very strong.
The longer contest, I'm afraid to say, favours.
Oh, lovely combination there, sorry.
That's okay, no.
Really lovely combination.
I think favours Marais the longer they go on. You know, power, speed, timing, they all begin to unravel for anybody.
Definitely, yes.
You know, the longer you go on, you just don't have the same as you do at the beginning of the 4 minutes.
Mikhailin, look at
But that was clever, absolutely
nice.
clever.
Blocked it, he paused, and then he reacted. And
second time he's scored with that today.
Yeah.
And that is
Trap
an
the leg.
old-fashioned Russian execution of that technique. That's it now. Mikhailin is too wily to give away this score.
And he's got a very strong
stage.
grip there. That left hand that's there, trapping his opponent's right. He comes round the back, also trapping the side, and then puts Sutemi Waza in just to finish it off. Well, got the timing just right on that, didn't it?
Absolutely.
That's what you've got, the maturity and the experience behind this man.
Well, Cyril Marais not able to come up with what on paper for him looked like a good draw. Mikhailin, 38 years old, back end of his career. Marais, Olympic bronze medalist, on the back of a Grand Slam gold medal, first time out at plus 100, preparing with Teddy Riner. There's so much going for him.
12 years his junior.
Exactly. But Mikhailin proving, as Ritter pointed out this morning, that the wily old fox ain't done yet.
I know, the silver grey fox is in there. Brilliant.
He has a smile. He laughs at Yamashita directly, and they exchange laughs and glances, and there's all sorts of stories to go on there.
Definitely a great match, and again a little bit closer, takes him into the quarter.
He's just too wily. You know, you make a single error. If you look at that Makikomi from Marais, this is never meant to throw him.
He didn't even.
Yeah, exactly.
No contact at all with that arm for the Makikomi.
He just wants to
turned. He tried to fall on his face, and it came unstuck with it.
Yeah, and it offered Mikhailin the opportunity to do what we used to call that kind of dustbin roll,
Right,
and he turned him. Right, on the tatami now, Levani Matiashvili of Georgia faces Toma Nikiforov of Belgium. It's Matiashvili and the white judogi Nikiforov.
This is going to be a very tough match. This really is going to be a tough one. Nikiforov in his previous match was brilliant. He was really good, straight in. But Matiashvili, for me, is a youngster that's come in. I say youngster, he's 24 years, 24,
yeah,
but
still young,
he's still young, but he's got so much potential. He's got beautiful judo when he's able to execute it.
Nikiforov looks like Tusishvili, doesn't he? He resembles him.
Yes, he
does.
does.
He's got that little beard going on.
Yes, there is a resemblance.
Yeah, resemblance. That's right. Yeah. What a lineup! And you're not going to believe it. We've got Teddy Riner coming up again shortly in the first quarterfinals.
He most probably can't believe it. He's just got over the last one. It's coming fast and furious. And this is the thing, is because there's no other weight categories, it's just the one we're looking at, this
right.
open, that you can't hide. Definitely can't hide.
No hiding place, yeah. Martinuzzi in the chair there for Nikiforov. So we really have got some good judo here today. It's not always the case that we can sell you on the heavyweight women or heavyweight men, but on this occasion,
This is
we've
just,
got them. Yeah.
definitely, this has been, it's weight in gold, isn't it? It really has.
Ooh, close.
Swing there, it looked for the Makakomi. But then there's the shimiwaza, it looks like, goodness me, he's into the osakomi, he just needs to sit back out. Oh, goodness.
Great trap here.
Well, he's trapped the leg, he can't sit back, but he can't execute the shimiwaza. Well, do you know what, that was a clever little move to block that, and I thought it was all over and done with there for the Georgian. He most probably thought at one stage it was as well.
Well, the shimiwaza was on.
It was there, it was, and, you could see. And
he put the pressure on. That resulted in Matiashvili turning into that osaikomi, and then Nikiforov, put the osaikomi on, and as Ritter was saying, he lost the shimiwaza. That's not a bad effort from Nikiforov. Just trying to sit down with that little Yoko Otoshi, but missed the leg. You need to have that trap so that there's something to fall over.
Yes, and he needed to get that little step, a couple of little lighter steps to be able to jump underneath him that way. But nice Ashiwaza there from the Georgian.
Good little battle.
Well, it's turned out to be a very interesting one-for-one attacks here. You can't write either one of these athletes off just yet.
Teddy Rinner's coming up for his fourth fight. Normally by now he's got the gold medal around his neck and he's going home.
Yeah.
He's only halfway through.
He's definitely having to work. There's no doubt about it, and so he should.
Yeah, I'll go back to saying the next time that we have this, I think the numbers will be a little bit bigger even. That makes it even harder. Can you get that another round in? And I like the idea of no seeding, you just off you go. Of course, Tusashvili and Rinner went head-to-head in round 2. Didn't take away anything from the excitement of the day or the contest.
Oh, no. Kosota attack there. Tusashvili 30 kilos heavier than his opponent.
Nikiforov's putting up a good show here.
He's doing very well indeed. Kosota again. We showed that a couple of times. Really needs to break down on the balance of that. Steps across there, looking for that Makakomi. Again, loses upper body control.
Yeah, I really like the idea of no seeding.
So do I.
If we had, we could have seeded it along 100 kilo lines, get the top hundreds fighting against each other. I think, well, that would have just been a 100 kilo contest against the plus 100 kilo category after, and we line them up in the quarterfinals. Now let's throw them in right.
Well, I think it's made right from the beginning. It's made the day so exciting with the first opening match. Teddy Riner.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for any better to get things started, could you?
Oh,
lovely attack.
Yes,
and he's got
this right
with
to the end.
2 seconds remaining. Well, Nikiforov couldn't have timed that any better, and it takes him into the quarterfinal.
Dug really deep, didn't he?
Oh, that was just superb.
Well, he puts himself in a real chance of a medal here, because he's into the quarterfinal. Should he lose that, he's down into the repechage.
Yes.
So he's still got a couple of fights, whichever way you look at it.
He's got Mikhailin in the place for the semi-finals. He's in the quarterfinal with Mikhailin, so that'll be very interesting. But the way Nikiforov has been fighting, he's fit.
Yeah,
he's very lively. He's had some great performances.
Good one. That lineup is looking ever more interesting. Let's have a look at some of the highlights, and then we'll be back with the last of the round 3 contests. He didn't have the power to stop him at the end. He just rolled over. Look at this. There it looks as though he stopped him. Yeah. And then with the final push, he just rolled.
Real continuation, a real drive off that foot. It's that left foot that was doing all that work, driving off to the side. There could very little resistance at all. As you can see, the hand went down to stop it, but taking it off to the side rather than a forward attack was what sealed it for him.
And in blue for Russia.
Well, the last of the round 3 contest is coming up now. Alex Garcia Mendoza of Cuba faces Adlan Bizultanov of Russia. It'll be Garcia Mendoza in the white judogi, Bizultanov in blue. We're going to get some more excitement from Bizultanov, do you think?
I think so.
His throwing skills
He's
are just
technically,
lovely to watch. Yeah.
he's very good. He's sharp, and I think Garcia Mendoza is a big lad, but technically, I think they're 2 different levels here. But he has to move the big man, and that's the main thing here. The Russian is obviously a lot smaller, but so he has to stay very light on his feet and try and create those opportunities and break his opponent's balance. Otherwise, it's going to be like hitting a brick wall.
I'm just trying to think of the last Cuban. Who was the Cuban heavyweight some years ago? Because they haven't had a Cuban male heavyweight for a while. Oscar Brayson.
Oh,
That's
yes,
right,
I
Oscar
remember.
Brayson, yeah.
Wasn't he back in
But,
Barcelona time?
It could have been. Well, I'm kind of thinking after that.
2004, 2008.
Let's have a look and see when his career was. He was certainly around at in Beijing, 2008. That was the last time that I remember him being around.
2004 rings a bell for me, and seeing him on that circuit. Well, 2.5 minutes remaining. There's a Shido for Garcia Mendoza, Cuba in the white, and Bisultov.
Well, Brayson was a bronze medalist in the Olympic Games in Beijing. He turned up in London as well and finished 7th. As far as the World Championships were concerned,
So 2008.
that was 2008. He took silver in 2009 in Rotterdam. I'm just having a look to see what he did in 2004. That's what I'd like to see, because there's always a reason why I remember them. So he must have done something back.
2004 rings a bell for me.
Yeah, so let's have a look and see what he did back in 2004.
Well, we've got 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining in this contest, and Bisultanov with 2 Shidos, which puts him in a very uncomfortable position here with a lot of pressure on him. Garcia Mendoza just out-gripping him at the moment and very static in his approach to this contest. Bisultanov really desperately trying to take that sleeve, but he's battling away, and it looks like he's going to take his 3rd and final Shido for an attempt to try and engage in this contest, but he played into the tactics of Garcia Mendoza on this match. Even though he was making that attempt to try and grip all the time and engage in the contest, he picks his 3rd and final, and Bisultanov desperately trying to plead his case there, but
He's not happy, but that's not the way it works.
and the penalty remains, and Bisultanov goes out, sadly. It wasn't one of the best contests for him.
Well, he's not happy, but he's going to be even less happy when Mohamed Marija gets hold of him in a minute. The education and coaching director is on his way down there to sort him out. Right, there were unfortunately no real highlights from that one. The only damp squib of the whole day, but we may yet have some action. This is, the last of the round 3 contests. Kageura Kokoro of Japan faces Roy Maya of the Netherlands. It's Kageura in the white judogi, Maya in blue, and Zoltanov and the Russian coach still battling it out next to us. They're having a bit of a word with each other.
Well, the thing is, yes, he was trying to battle his way into getting a grip, but if you can't get a grip, you've got to change your tactics and go for something else. If that's not the sleep you're going to get, then there has to be some alternative plan. And he just didn't seem to have an alternative plan there. Yeah, and that's what lost him there. He played into the tactics of Garcia Mendoza.
There was no plan B. Maya defeated Lipatiliani in round 2.
Yes, that was right. A little bit of a shake-up, wasn't it? Maya's done extremely well.
Kageura.
He also defeated. He defeated Iliadis. Maya did, and Kageura defeated Lipatiliani.
Lipatiliani, yeah. So Lipatiliani went down to Kageura and Maya.
Well, Maya broke the hearts of everybody, as we could say.
Yeah, so instead of having a Lipatiliani-Iliadis match-up in round 3, we've ended up with Kageura and Maya. That would have been nice, wouldn't it?
It would have been really nice.
We just saw Mohammed Marija, the IJF Education Coaching Director, going around the back. I told you he'd be on his way.
Yes, he's hot on his trail.
Zoltanov will have another word in his ear.
Well, coming up to 2.5 minutes now left in this contest, and Maya attempted a drop there. Didn't look very convincing. But Shido been awarded to Kageura. Maya battling inside grip there. A little bit of a block, trying to avoid Kageura from coming through. You see these opting for a high collar grip on the outside. Just under halfway remaining in this contest. One Shido that divides both these athletes. Maya stepping across there, looking for an opening, and it's followed by a similar attack there from Kageura.
Well, we saw Kageura go behind, not really go behind, but he was 2 Shidos against him into the golden score period.
Yes, and then in the golden score came back. Yeah. Seems to do well in the golden score. The drop Sinagi falls over the back there. Scoring a Wazari with 1 minute and 11 seconds remaining. So good position now as he works away in the Niwaza, trying to look for an opportunity there. Don't think he's really got much options. But there you have it, drop, but as you can see, falls over the opposite side.
On the other side. Oh, well, the Japanese leads it with less than a minute to go. Roy Maya with a mountain to climb now, difficult at any time to overcome one of the Japanese heavyweights, but you've got Wazari against you as well. It's going to make it extremely difficult.
Yeah. Well, a bit of a head-to-head here, as you can see. Maya stepping across for the Uchimata.
Wasn't a bad little stab, was it?
Good attack. Didn't have the upper body control that he needed to make it effective enough for a score, but Nevertheless, a good comeback as he throws it once more, that arm over the top. Quickly dismissed, and Kageura, as you can see, being very defensive there, holding the bottom part of the jacket, defending nicely with seconds remaining, will take him in to the quarterfinal.
Well, Naya just had that one last opportunity for a Makikomi on the left side, but it was not the strongest of efforts. Kageura was able to block it reasonably easily, and that, I'm afraid, is the end of Naya's day, as far as the competition is concerned anyway. Bowing out in round 3 to Kageura Kokoro of Japan. Well, we've got some highlights coming up next of this contest. No doubt we'll see the Kageura score, but it really is just the appetizer for the first of the quarterfinals, and that'll be Teddy Riner of France to face Batulga Temulin of Mongolia. Riner in the white judogi, Batulga in blue. Let's take a look at the highlights from the last contest.
And now the quarterfinal. In white for France, Teddy Riner.
Well, this is it, Loretta. Showtime. Quarterfinals, crowd on their feet again.
Batulga Temulin.
Is Batulga going to give Riner a bit of a workout?
Based on performances today, I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Every time,
I do not think so.
every time that Riner has been asked to step up or to face a different proposition, he's faced it without too much difficulty, to be
Yes,
honest.
he's fought various styles of athletes here, even just here today, and he's been able
Yeah.
to deal with them quite
Each time.
comfortably. All in his own way, maybe not always the most prettiest fights, but he's dealt with them very professionally and he's got the job done. And Batulga, I think he's had a real battle along, but I don't think he's been one of the sharpest I've seen out there today. Has the disadvantage of that height as well over his opponent. Rina towering over the Mongolian. Osota, those long legs reaching across effortlessly. Once more, as you can see, that right hand in deep, but the arm threatening around the back. Batulga looking to get those hips in, or the uranagi from behind, and Teddy Riner he felt that, didn't he?
I saw that.
You've seen it?
Just took a breather there. He wasn't up on his feet quickly, and
He wasn't a
just lying
happy
in his
bunny,
back,
was he?
breathing there.
Yeah. Felt a little bit threatened on that point. First time ever we've seen that. And that's going to be the danger. Teddy's really got to keep the distance. He's not got to really turn his back. Throws that arm over the top. Stabs away at the feet. Batulga really has to just keep those hands down. The Sianagis could be very effective for him, but he needs to keep the hands down while he turns his back. And by keeping the hands down, you can pick up the shidos because it looks also very negative.
Yeah, you can take that strong grip, but you then got to attack.
You've got
to
to
do
use
something
it,
with it.
definitely. Batulga trying to engage, trying to come round the hips of Rina, who backs out once more into that corner. He's edging away from him. Doesn't like that at all. And the problem with Teddy, when he throws that right hand over the top, that allows Batulga to come round the hips. Well, Rina now, as you can see, that right hand elbow tucked in quite nicely, making it very powerful, drawing his opponent's head towards his chest, bearing his weight down onto his opponent, making him look very passive now, and now just working the feet, looking very busy, what we've seen in previous matches that has picked up the penalties for his opponent. But Teddy picks up one, but so does his opponent as well, for lack of engagement for both of them.
Yeah, I think that's right. Neither of them really producing anything. Both picking up penalties.
And one more penalty would result in a hand sokumaki for Mongolia. As Teddy backs out once more in the corner there. Well, tactically for Ritter is getting that arm over the top, elbow tucked in nicely and working the feet. He might pick up a Shido himself, but so with his opponent. And this would be more the tactical ploy that Rennie is very clever in doing anyway. And as you can see once more, the elbow's tucked in, the head's down, he engages into his chest, works his feet, and Uchimata. There he goes. Well, it's a nice finish than seeing the hand sokumaki.
Well, we've seen him use his leg twice today,
Yes.
once in the complete overthrow,
Yes, that was lovely.
and then here with the Uchimata. But that one, he nailed it, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, it was either going to be that, or Batulga was going to pick up another Shido, and that would have been finished. So it's nice seeing the judo coming through first. So that
Semi-final. Teddy Ritter into the semi-final.
and he'll be up against the winner of the next one coming up very shortly.
And we won't see that until the final block. Our final block starts at 5 o'clock. It's 20 past 2 here. We've got 3 more contests to bring you in the first part of the day's action. When we come back, we'll have the 2 semi-finals, the 2 repechage contests, and then we'll have the 2 bronze medal matches and then the final. So we'll have 7 contests in all in our second part of the show. He finishes beautifully, doesn't he, Loretta?
It's nice. That is a lovely finish there.
Talk us through
And
that.
look at the crowd there. Obviously a nice finish. And it all came from that right high collar grip, the elbow tucked in very nicely. Drew his opponent's head down into his shoulder, then allowed him to have that little bit of space so that he could then flow through with the Uchimata, those big long legs. Well, that was a nice finish.
We come to the second of our quarterfinals now. Ojitani Takeshi of Japan faces a rather surprising quarterfinalist in Andy Granda of Cuba.
Well,
It's Ojitani in white and Granda in blue.
Well, he's definitely had a lot of luck on his side, hasn't he? Granda.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
No. Well, the hand sokumaki in the previous match, and then there was the counter attempt where his opponent landed on his back first. So
Yeah, he had a first round bye, so it's Kribovokov who ended up with the landing on his back first. The hand sokumake in round 3 are now Ojitani, so he's snuck in there, hasn't he?
yeah, he's then flown in under the radar. This one we've never really had this one on the bucket list, as we could say.
Well, he's up against the strongest of the opponents that he's faced today in Ojitani. And whomsoever takes this one has the pleasure and honour of facing Ritter in that first semi-final. Good luck with that one.
Good luck. Yeah.
blue, white gi, doesn't matter to Ritter. Put me in anything,
No,
I'll
just
win.
put me in and I'll look good and I'll just get through. Well, for him it isn't, he's not out to entertain, he's out to get the job done. And he does. You can't say he's been one of the most...
He has been entertaining today, absolutely, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I did hear once when he came to get the back numbers for his geese that he only brought the white gi with him. I said, "Where's your blue geese? Where's your blue geese?" I won't need it.
No, he never. I just love that.
There are two stories like that I've heard. One was about a Japanese doctor. I'll come to that in a minute. Left-sided effort there from Granda. And for those of you that don't know, when the fighters come and they get their accreditation and they check in and they come to have their gis checked, they give their judogi so that we can put the advertising back numbers, as you can see there. One was SOCAR, the oil company, and the other is Marrakech Telecom, I think it is. And they have those sewn on or glued on. I think most of the time it's just glued on underneath their name and their country. So they have to bring along their white gi and their blue gi. Well, Ritter is normally the number one seed, and that would mean he's always in white,
yes,
for as long as he keeps winning. And when asked for his blue gi, he said, I won't need it.
I just love that confidence.
The second one was a Japanese doctor who brought his winning athletes to the doping control, and on leaving the doping control one evening, he said to our doctor, he said, "Okay, see you tomorrow then, bye." And off he went. And our doctor stopped for a moment and thought, how does he know that he's going to be here tomorrow? Because only the winners come here.
Exactly.
And he said, of course, he's Japanese. The confidence was brimming over.
Brilliant.
Yeah. See you tomorrow. No other coach could have said it with such confidence. No score. Both players have picked up a penalty apiece. We've got 20-odd seconds left to go. Granda backed up into that corner. He does a neat little turn and he puts Ojitani.
Well, he's
in the
doing
corner.
well, isn't he?
Yeah,
Considering we've more or less said, well, he's been a very lucky man to come through as far as he has.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's played his part in this contest to get him through to the semi-final. There's no score at all. We've got seconds remaining, but we know that Ojitani is very good in the golden scores. When he goes in, within seconds, he seems to get the result and the job done. So will that happen again here?
Has he been into golden score twice now? Once with Sven Heinle and once with Alexander Vahavia.
And within the 30 seconds, he's got the score. Yeah. So
just stepped up into another gear, hasn't he?
And there's a Shido apiece. Ojitani driving towards that edge, trying to engage, but as you can see, that left hand of Granda just blocking him out enough to keep those hips from coming through.
It's just his movement for me, Granda's movement, that's keeping him in this. He's not stood still at any point where Ojitani can get hold of him and say, right, I'm going to bang you over now. He's done a good job as Granda, and he's still in there after a minute of golden score.
Yeah, he has that little skip to the side and then hooks the leg in as if he's coming in for the Uchimata combination. And there's the Ojitani with the Uchimata attempt. A little bit more convincing, and I think... Oh, lovely attempt there as he stepped across right off the grip there. Granda still looking very fresh out there as he comes through with the drop Sianagi. Oh, he's got the cross grip, and the Oso Tagari is attempting
just
again.
Lost contact with the hands, isn't he? He got himself into a nice position, And if he'd
Just
been
needed
able to
the
hold of him,
sleeve.
yeah.
Just needed that sleeve just to get in that little bit deeper. Nochi. Gary there
Tired
from...
looking
He's
Ojitani there.
looking very tired indeed. And look
Granda.
how fresh
Look,
Granda's looking. He's very fresh out there.
hardly
He's
broke
still
sweat.
got plenty in the tank.
Ojitani's sweating.
Chitani looks like he's dying on his feet.
Doesn't want to go backwards there. He's
No.
lucky to get an attack in.
The Makakomi and the Ochigari.
Ochigari!
Oh,
He could have come up with
that
a...
was so close.
Left-sided Ochigari. If you'd only been able to come up with a bit of Ashi was on the right, I think you'd have had Ojitani over.
Toshi. Well, there's a nice combination of techniques there. There was the Ochigari. He stepped across for the Toshi. He's really flirting away here. He's working very, very hard. And piling the pressure on Ojitani, who's starting to look poorer out there as we see the seconds tick away.
Doesn't want to get backed into the corner here. We've seen
Needs
how
to-
that works every time.
Oh, that was
it
a
not
very,
done,
very
yeah.
poor attack. Is that not good at all? And he put himself in that predicament.
He's been moving sideways, which is...
He needs to have that
Yeah,
circling
that's
motion.
better.
He
That's
cannot
better.
back. He seems to...
Yeah.
A couple of attacks and movements like that would obviously... There's a... Oh, yes!
Over goes Ojitani!
Whoa!
That was terrific.
Fantastic. That was a lovely judo. Well, I just take back everything about being lucky. That wasn't luck. That was judo.
Nothing to stop Granda there. There was no
No.
defence when he got... First of all, he had the speed. Second of all, he got all the elements that we were talking about. He got them right. And then he could launch for a
that was
good
just-
execution.
That was a nice bit of judo there, and Grande did extremely well and deserved his place in the semi-final, where he'll be up against Teddy Rayner. Yay, yay, yay.
Take it away. Well, this tournament so far has been really entertaining.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Semi-final.
Really enjoyed this.
Andy Granda.
And there have been a few that have gone against the odds.
Oh,
But
definitely.
even the ones that have gone the way that we thought they were going to go have gone really well. They've been interesting. Teddy Rayner has to take, credit for that. The focus has been on him, and I know we keep going on about it, but the spotlight when you're under that, let's go here because Granda does such a good job. I'm
Yeah,
going to
look
talk
at
over
that.
this. Loretta, go ahead.
Well, he brings that arm right over the Harai is there into the Makakomi. Look at that. He's actually just planted
Banged him,
him.
hasn't he?
He's planted him. He's actually opened the mat up and he's buried him.
He makes a space for Ojitani to fall into as well. He doesn't
It's
throw him off that side. He brings him down here.
And if he wasn't going to get there upon, he would definitely have the hold down anyway. But fantastic bit of judo.
Top man. Well, the action isn't over yet. We've got two more contests to bring you. And the first of these, the third of the quarterfinals, features Alexander Mikhailin of Russia. He's up against Toma Nikiforov of Belgium. It's Mikhailin in the white judogi, Nikiforov in blue.
Well, this is definitely going to be a very tough match. Both these athletes deserve to be in that semi-final. There's no doubt about it. Have great fights and to build up to this quarter-final. And sadly, they've just got to meet each other. And be interesting as it was one a lot more mature, has got a lot of experience under his belt, and has performed. It has had a solid performance throughout the day. Very convincing wins. But Nikiforov has showed some real sparkle now. He's got some lovely judo and is going to be one to be reckoned with in this quarter-final against Mikhailin.
Mikhailin, for me, has been almost a revelation. He defeated Ulzibayar Durenbay of Mongolia in round number 1, and then Temar of Algeria in round number 2, and then Cyril Marais of France in
And
round
that was
number 3.
that was the crucial one,
Yeah.
Marais. That was the
big job.
crucial
That was
one.
a
That
big,
was a
big
big
one,
job
yeah.
done. Someone who's so young and sort of so eager and nipping away. But there's a fantastic attack there from
Nice
Mikhailin.
movement.
Really nice. Very powerful leg as he stepped across. Nikiforov just went over quite nicely there.
Nice movement from the mature athlete.
Yes, definitely the mature. There's nothing wrong about a mature athlete.
2:40 odd left to go. No score yet. But,
The old silver fox, as we will call him.
Yeah, he's taken that mantle.
There's a little bit of a low moment at this moment, both deciding who's going to go first, and so far Michaelin has looked to be the one that's created opportunities for himself out there, and as he steps, well, that could have been an ultimate mistake there.
Spectacular effort there.
Oh, dropped right underneath him from the belt grip that the Russian had put on.
Just got his hand down, didn't he,
did.
Mikhailin, to come up wheel out of that.
Yes. Well, that deep belt grip again from Mikhailin.
Have you noticed that Mr. Yamashita hasn't moved? He's watched every fight.
I know, in the same, definitely.
Hasn't moved.
Always.
Some people just can't get enough judo, can
I know,
they?
he's just judo man through and through. Mr. Judo.
I think Iliadis sitting next to him soon.
Oh, definitely. Again, Nikiforov looking
almost
for
with the
that
turn.
drop, and Michaela there was waiting for the counter.
Who did he counter earlier on with that little dustbin roll, didn't he?
That was 2 matches back, was it?
Rouget, Uemura, Yamashita, they're all up there having a look.
Wasn't that with Cyril Mare?
Yeah, Mare, he caught her over
Yes.
on that right side. Good contest here, Mikhailin and
There's a
Nikiforov.
battle away with a big min on. Comes round the back again, it drops underneath. He's got to be very careful. Mikhailin gets that belt, but he tends to slow down things. And Nikiforov comes in with that drop Sienagi, and he's been very, very close a couple of times now.
Yeah, if you're not really strong against Mikhailin in your attacks, you run the risk of being countered.
Definitely. Well, there's the Kosota from Mikhailin. Oh,
caught
and
there.
there it
Yeah.
is.
He's tapped out.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Well, that was a great effort there from Nikiforov.
Didn't hang around tapping out.
No.
Single slip from Mikhailin. He's okay.
Yeah.
It
Just
was
Just his pride is hurt
Yeah.
there.
Vladimir Nutsubidze, the referee, was asking him, "You okay, pal?" He said to
Yeah.
him, "Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'll be up in a minute."
But I mean, I just can't believe what I've just done.
Single slip from
Yeah. But then that's when the tiredness comes in as well, and it was that slight error. He's had a few battles up to this point, and you think of the matches that he has had, like you're saying with Teddy Rina, by the third match he's in the final, he's picking up a medal, isn't he?
That's right.
But having 40 athletes in an open weight division means
You're
that
gonna be
you're tested with your condition and your staying power, isn't it? Not as much as physical, but mentally challenged as well, isn't it?
It'll be a nice end here from Mikhailin and Nikiforov, because Nikiforov has got the greatest of respect for Mikhailin. You see it there, look at that. You know. But the Belgian gets past the tough Russian. We'll see Mikhailin again, but it will be in the repechage contest. It'll be Nikiforov into the semi-final. Let's have a look at the highlights here. There's the single slip. And he knows he's not going anywhere, he just taps out. Some beautiful feet on the Tatu Shiogatami. Have a look at this, look how quickly he wraps the feet up. Straight away.
The last quarterfinal of today.
Classic
In white
feet
for
trap
Cuba.
there.
Oh, he just braced down, the knees were bent. He then pulled down on both of the sleeves.
The blue judo gi for Japan.
As you can see, the arm round the back, he just braced down, both knees square, knees bent over his own toes directly down onto the back. That was a lovely counter there.
Stretch him out.
Really.
Never like that.
And I think that face is just saying it all.
Never like being on the receiving end of that. Right, we've got the last of the quarterfinals now. Alex Garcia Mendoza of Cuba faces Kageura Kokoro of Japan. It's Garcia Mendoza in the white judogi, Kageura in blue.
Well, in Pool B we had Japan versus Cuba, and Cuba came through with Granda. Can this Cuban do exactly the same?
Yeah, they don't want to go 2-0 against the Cubans, do they?
Yeah.
And you would really want to have the Japanese roundabout in one of the semi-finals.
Well, you would have expected it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you were at the beginning of the day, we would look and say, well, if you have to choose, then you would say both Japanese would have come through. But no, Granda definitely deserved his place in that semi-final. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, he's
no
been a
question
revelation
mark there.
today.
Oh, he's been amazing. That last match was just the icing on the cake, really.
Well, I hope that you've got your sheets nicely tidied up, because I haven't. And I know you're so good at keeping a check. I'll just bring another screen up, make it a little bit easier for you.
Well, I'll do the main ones. I've got the main ones. The repechage, I haven't actually looked at that yet.
Yeah, that the first repechage contest will be Batova Timoilin of Mongolia. He's going to face Ojitani Takeshi of Japan. Mikhailin has gone down into the repechage, having lost that quarterfinal, and whomsoever loses this one will face Mikhailin. So that's what we got here. Winner up there and loser down there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll close this up.
Yeah, we're sorted.
Sorted. The letter's got it covered.
Nice Ashiwaza there from Garcia Mendoza. Looking very strong out there.
We feel slightly exposed here because the way they've got the lighting done is it's mostly dark around the edges, as you can see, but off in the top left-hand corner of that screen we feel a little bit exposed because the light is on us.
It looks like a total eclipse there, as you can see from the distance.
It has been a very good Open.
Oh, it's been really interesting.
Really well.
There's some great matches. There's some really good tactical matches throughout, but there's some really excellent judo as well.
Garcia Mendoza picked up a second penalty. Problems for the Cuban here. He doesn't want to be in that position.
I know, one more would result in the Hansokimaki, and we don't really want to see this one of the final matches in this corner. Well, I think that might seal his fate there. And
see, for me, that is a false attack.
Yeah, and
you don't want to give it because it's the end of the contest, but you've got no choice. It's a false attack. It was
Kageura, accelerated it by just showing that what he was thinking and just telling the referee without actually telling the referee direct. That body language was just saying it all, wasn't it?
So Garcia Mendoza goes down into the repechage. Kageura, it is, who goes into the second of the semi-final. We're going to take a look at the highlights from this one, and then we'll be back with a wrap-up. And Loretta's got all the Loretta's got the lineup for all the contests that we're going to see in the final block. But I'm not sure if they're going to give us the highlights on that one. Maybe there were none. there weren't any. So it was because it was 3 penalties, wasn't
Yes.
it? So there wasn't anything. Right, the Ritter go. It's all yours. Who are we going to see in that first semi-final?
Right,
then?
the first semi-final, obviously to the light of everybody, is got to be Teddy Riner, and we have Granda from Cuba.
Who's been a bit of a surprise package, hasn't he?
He was lucky in his first 2 matches, there's no doubt about it, but he fought well, you can't take away. But I think that luck just overemphasised what you didn't realise the amount of work he was doing within the contest itself, and at the end there was that extra little bit of luck that he needed to take him through. But that last one with Ojitani, that just sort of, I took back everything I was saying at the time, that there was no luck. He's made his own way through to that semi-final, but he needs a lot of luck within that semi-final against Teddy Riner, because he is just on form, and he's performed. He's gave us a lot of excitement throughout this day, and I think we can see him in that final. I really do. I can see him win it, to be honest. So he's one of my top favourites to winning the competition. But then in the other semi-final, we've got Nikiforov. Again, he's been a solid performance throughout the day, and that last match against Mikhailin, well, that sort of performance based on today was what brought him into that semi-final. Mikhailin, I thought, was outstanding. That maturity, that presence on the mat, and his technical expertise has pleased us throughout the day. I think he's deserved to get a medal. He will be in the bronze medal, the repechage. Hopefully that will come for him, because he definitely deserves to be on that podium. There's no doubt about it. And then you have we have Kageura of Japan. Again, he's not one that's been one of the sort of highlights for me that sort of stays in my mind based on performance, but he's trunched along. He's been consistent, and he's had a lot of golden scores where he's performed within the first 30 seconds of that golden score. But he's in the semi-final. For me, I think Nikiforov, based on performance today and his judo and how he's been able to accelerate, and he's had some outstanding and some tough matches, I think he'll get into that final against Teddy Riner.
So it could be a Nikiforov Renner final.
Yes, that's what I think.
Could be looking at that.
I possibly think
the
that.
2 repechage contests then. Let's just go through those.
Well, we
quickly.
have Mongolia, Baltuga.
Yeah.
He's Ojitani of Japan. Ojitani, I think, will get through to that.
Okay,
that
and then the second.
Mikhailin and Garcia Mendoza.
Garcia Mendoza, yeah.
From Cuba. Yeah. I want to see Mikhailin. I'd like to see Mikhailin get through there. Well,
you called him this morning, and for me, I didn't expect Mikhailin to be up and around in the medals. But his experience, his wiliness has just proved so strong for him.
Yeah, I think the Silver Fox will do it, definitely, for me.
Now, it is 2:45 here in Marrakech. We're going to be back at 5 o'clock with all those medal matches in the final block. But from Loretta Kusaktual and myself, it's bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.